of different questions, and I'm like, instead of me answering it just to one person, it would be really great if we can talk to more than one. We're live now. Anyway, ain't nobody chiming in yet, but that's fine. But
Yeah, that's cool.
when they do, eh,
Yeah, I just put it in my. I put my phone on my tripod. It makes it a lot easier to. Looks better too.
yeah, and I'm not really
And then you can see me fine, right?
yep. Oh, I forgot you can't even see me.
Well, but I know you. I watch you enough to where I know your expressions. I know exactly what you're doing right now. So.
Hey, no, but like we were just saying, I don't think it's necessary to eliminate the whole entire generation from one or two bad ones. And just like you were just saying, um, it could be a whole bunch of different reasons. And I know, guys, is
So
always
many
going to be a
different
debate.
reasons.
A, you know, he got to be dead game. But I even question that. I don't know if every bird is dead game every day of the week. I don't know. I don't know if a bird. I don't know if a bird is dead game every day of the week. Now, let me just clarify that because I know they'd be like, "Well, that don't even make any sense." Well, what I mean by that is, I think maybe feeling a particular way, he may be dead game, but I think under the right circumstances, he might not be dead game. You know what I'm saying? Like you catch him on one day, he can probably
Absolutely.
be dead game today. But he go through a couple situations, colds, worms, all this kind of stuff. 3 months from now, he might not be dead game. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just a thought. What you think?
I I agree. We can go with like these are animals, right? And of course, there's instincts and all these natural abilities and everything, right? But
Right,
if you just look at athletes, right?
right,
If you just look at just the best athletes that ever lived, they have off nights. You see them. You see them in Jordan. You see them in LeBron. You see them in Ali. You see them in Tyson.
right,
Anyone you can think of has off nights. I think the
right.
only one that was able to control his environment a lot more
Uh-huh.
and not have off nights was probably Mayweather. You know,
Yeah,
with
and I bet if you had a conversation with him, he would tell you every night wasn't his best night as far as feeling it. You know what I'm saying? He still
exactly.
performed, he still pulled off the win, but I'm sure I have seen some interviews where like he said, I'm always in shape. That's never a question, but that's
Right.
physically. Sometimes it's a mental challenge. And the reason why I say I think some birds can be dead game one day and not dead game another day. And again, guys would say that don't make any sense is because of the story when I had that bird fly out the pit. The one that's called Hammer. I told that story. Everybody thought it was so comical. It was comical. It wasn't funny at the time that my bird flew out the pit in front of all those people. And they was laughing like blowing a roof off the Coliseum. They was laughing so hard. But I seen that bird come from, first of all, I purchased him at the time he had lost. He lost that. He got counted out. Um, So guys was like, but he didn't quit. He just got counted out. So I bought him because I knew he wasn't healthy. I said, man, that bird is not healthy. If that bird was healthy, he would perform better. Long story short, I got the bird. Bird became more healthy. I fought him 3 times. And had excellent performances. So I seen the bird take a brutal, come from behind whooping and still win. But one that next time I took him out, after that, I think it was the fourth fight. That next time I took him out, man, that bird put something on him straight out the gate, and he quit. He flew out and you could have never convinced me that
That
bird
he
had
would
any
have.
quit in him. Because
Yeah.
from the come behind, I seen him how far. I mean, that bird took him to the deep. And for him to come from behind and still win, you couldn't convince me that bird had any quit in him. And lo and behold, he quit. Not only did he quit, he flew out, he flew out the ring. He,
he he didn't want anything to do with
he
that.
didn't want anything to do with that other bird at all. And that's why I say I don't think a dead game bird is dead game every day of the week. Because I seen him take a more brutal battle and didn't show any bad signs. But this time he showed a less of a battle.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe the fact that that bird was wearing his head out, man, like a ping pong ball, like bang, 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 like but like Mayweather.
Yeah, it was
I
like,
mean, it
whoa,
was
whoa,
like,
whoa, I'm getting dinged out. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's why I think that's what makes me think that. I'm only speaking from it from my own personal experience. No theory, no concept, just from personal experience where
Right.
I have had a bird, I tell you, was taken to the deep 2 times out of 4 and didn't show a bad time. Even when I purchased him, he was taken to the deep. He didn't quit. He was incapacitated, got counted out, but he didn't quit. I purchased him then, and like I say, when I showed him, he was taken to the deep again. But that one time, I mean, he just quit. He
Yeah,
flew out the pit.
he just had an off day. Yeah,
I guess
exactly.
that's what it got. You know, that's the only explanation that I can have. He
He just
can't
had an
talk.
off day.
So,
Yeah,
you know what I
there's
mean?
so many circumstances. I mean, it can be anything. But I think again, we we think we know chickens, right?
Right, right,
I think I know chickens,
right,
but do we really know chickens? I don't know.
right.
You know, only God knows.
Only
You know,
God. Yep.
I think we can only explore so much. You know, there's
Yep.
so many. I mean, I'm sure there's so many intricacies that can be explored further, like
Yep.
scientifically and stuff.
Hmm.
Fact is, there's no budget, there's no interest. I don't think anyone's ever going to do that. You know,
Right,
I hope I'm wrong. I hope
right.
and someone really does study that. But there's so many things. For example, this was when was this? This must have been last November ish,
Hmm.
something like that.
Hmm.
And we were sparring. We were sparring. My uncle's like, "Hey, I got a show on Saturday or something."
Right.
He's like, "Hey, help me spar some birds." And I'm like, "All right, cool." This was like Tuesday, so they're sparring, whatever, and nothing, just same old, same old.
Hmm.
And we get this bird, and he puts him down. He just runs. He sees the bird, and he turns around and runs.
What?
He literally he didn't buck nothing. He wanted nothing. He chased them, and I just stood there, and I'm just like, a lot of people would be like, oh, hands in the air, like, oh, look at that. And I'm standing there, and I'm just like, okay. And he's like, what the fuck?
Right,
A little embarrassed, whatever. I
right.
don't, you know, that's just, again, that's just ego. So he goes and chases him around. He went out the barn. He literally went the opposite way. He had to go chase them. He's got 4 acres. He got to go chase them and caught him with a net.
Right.
Brought him back. We tried to spar him again. He went out the same door,
Uh-huh.
same exact way. And I'm just like, oh my God, my uncle's gonna fucking kill this motherfucker.
Right.
You know? and I'm just standing there with the other chicken in my arms, and I'm like, wow, okay. So he comes back and he's like, no, 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 something's wrong. Something's going on. We set him down again, and this time he goes around the other chicken through the opposite door, runs out. At this point, I'm like, okay, whoa, 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 like, what's going on? You know?
Right.
And my uncle, he's a lot more prideful than I am.
Hmm.
I'm more poised, I think. And he goes, grabs him, and he's embarrassed, and he's like, no, he's gotta, perform, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
cursing up a storm. And
Yeah.
sure enough, we tease him a little bit more, and we set him down, and he buckles a little bit, and he doesn't do anything special. And he's like, I knew he would fight. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm like, you're gonna fight him on Saturday. And he's like, well, but he's the type that it was a 4-cock derby, and he's preparing 4 cocks. I like to do at least 2 or 3 times, because we never know, something like that. You can
Right.
substitute someone in.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, well, it's a 4-cock. And I'm just like, okay, well, you kind of should have had something else ready, but
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
So come Saturday, guess who wins the money fight?
The one that
That
ran.
fucking chicken that ran 3 times.
I'm telling you,
And
man,
he came back with like 28 grand or something, and he's like, "Oh, remember, I knew it." Blah blah blah. I'm like, "What? Well, you know your birds more than I do. That's for
right.
damn sure. Because I
Right.
wouldn't have put him in.
Right. Exactly. I mean, and that's the whole deal. And like we talked about earlier, when you hear guys say, "Oh man, I had one quit and I went home and I just called the whole generation." I'm like, I don't even know if that's necessary. Like you said earlier, you don't even know if they even do that. That's to me,
Yeah,
that's ego talking. But on
yeah,
the flip side, everybody have their red lines. like their tolerance levels. Like guys who don't like man fighters. They were like, I don't care how he bred and when he come off of. If he's a man fighter, he's out of here. You know what I'm saying? So everybody have their red lines or what they will and will not tolerate, and I think everybody should.
Right.
But it's like we talked about earlier. How many brood cocks is on people's yards, all size yards, not just big, because for some reason in our community, they think large farms is the only ones breeding unproven birds. But we know that's not the truth.
That's not true.
But I was just whispering that to you just in case. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So how many brood cocks is on people's yards that has the potential to run, but you'll never find out if they'll run because they'll never be tested. You know what I'm saying? It is literally thousands of birds across this community worldwide, hundreds of thousands of birds that are being bred that has never been tested. But when they do have one that run, a lot of times it comes from a bird that was tested. So my thing is testing ain't even a guarantee. Now,
Yeah.
what I say testing
I agree.
purpose is to be able to identify the characteristics of the fowl. But there's no guarantee that a tested bird against the one that's untested is going to quit. The one that has been tested won't quit. There's no correlation to that. You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree. Yeah, I
There's no
agree.
correlation to that. So just because you have one that's been shown doesn't mean he won't quit, because I had that one like Hammer, like I say, 4 times. Took to the deep twice, and he ended up quitting. I would have bet $1 to 1,000 that bird ain't had no quit in him, but he
Right,
did.
right.
And then it's
Yeah.
stuff that's on a yard that has never been tested. And again, on a right day, they could be dead game, or they could be a done heel, but what they're producing ain't quitting.
Yeah, I mean, it goes like, for example, and I don't mean to jump into a different or go off on a tangent, but it kind of, like, this kind of makes sense, right? Like, in the SK,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
people say, well, the birds with the most cut
Mm-hmm.
are the most dunhill birds out there. And the theory is, well, because they're just shoving from outside, and they're kind of like fighting scared almost, that they
Mm-hmm.
kind of don't want to get deep in there, so they're
Mm-hmm.
not game. So that's why they have to resort to, like, poking the other
Mm-hmm.
bird real quick,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like, but I mean, this is what makes this sport amazing, right?
Yep.
Like, we're all right in our own mind, in our own theories.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you lose, well, I had a uh, back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
I was experimenting with, and this is I think about this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was experimenting a lot with, like, very defensive, very calculated birds. But this
Mm-hmm.
was when everyone was flying, up to the lights and coming
Yeah, up to
down,
the
and
light. Right.
people were not like, everyone that I knew were like, they're like, Peter, you're crazy. I'm
Right.
like, no, these birds can, like, dominate them, and now we see with ASOs what they can do,
Right.
but I might have been wrong or right, but
Right.
it in my head I was right, and
Mm-hmm.
in that's what makes this sport so awesome. Like,
Right.
people want to run different, uh like in basketball, different plays, different
Yes.
strategies,
Yep.
different, in
Yep.
football, and that's what's gonna win. And they end up finding out that that's not what's gonna win.
Yep. Yep.
So,
Yep.
it's perspective. Um, thank God you have, like, a platform where we can all talk, and share each other's thoughts. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
I think it needs to be regulated like everything else, right?
Yep.
Because there's so
Yep.
much crap information out there. But everyone has if they're being honest, only if they're being honest and they're not BSing, right? If they're
Mm-hmm.
just speaking from their experience and
Right.
say, hey, no, this happened to me, and then we're like, okay, well, it's undeniable. But there's a lot
Right.
of people that are just talking to talk. But assuming that we're all being honest and we're all
Right.
just speaking from our own experience,
Mm-hmm.
it's beautiful to share,
Yes.
because who's right, who's
Yep.
wrong? I don't, you see them in your interviews. There's guys that do sometimes complete opposites, and I'm just scratching my head. I'm like, well,
All of them.
that was
Literally,
sounding
literally all of
awesome
them.
last week, but now, wait, what?
Yeah,
So
it's
now
like it's like I'm
I have to talk
confused.
myself back into like, Peter, do what you
Yep.
do it, and don't do anything crazy. Just stick what to has worked for you, and then maybe tweak a thing or two, but just But I
Yep.
mean, the sport is awesome,
Yeah.
you
I mean,
know.
and to me, that's what makes it. That's what makes it awesome, and it's why I always say I put up a post one time about you sometimes you have to question your absolute beliefs, and I think a lot of times, and that applies to that's that to me that's just a universal law because you can apply that to every aspect of your life, and
Right,
I think, like I say, man, some guys don't question their absolute beliefs, and it's like, I believe that that bird hammer that I had didn't have no quit in him. You know what I'm saying? That bird done got no. He might lose. I'm not saying he gonna always win, but he ain't gonna quit. And what happened? He
right,
quit. You know what I'm saying? You could not have convinced me that that bird had quit in him because I seen him go to the deep twice, not once, but twice. Once it was he lost. The second time he went to the deep, he came back and won. So I'm like, man, that bird ain't got no quit. I can't see him. You know what I mean? Like, nah. He gonna check out of here before he quit. And sure
right.
enough, yeah, he checked out with a plane ticket. You know what I mean?
It happens. It
You know what
happens
I'm
to the best
saying?
of them too.
And,
So
and, and I think, if guys, with all the interviews and all our guests are very unique in their own way. They're successful in their own right. But I challenged people before and it said, go back through these interviews and you find one thing that some of them do the same and bring it to my attention. And you won't be able to find it. Nobody does anything the same. Like all of those guests that we interview, and we're talking, Peter, we're talking over, if you calculate it, we're talking over 1,200 years of experience. Nobody
yeah,
never sat down and calculated. We're
yeah.
talking about 1,500 years of combined experience,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody is doing anything the same. Only thing similarity you might have is worming on days, not what worming on, like I do it once a month, something like that. But other than that, if you talk about how they point, how they fit, it's all different, and it's just amazing. And to me,
Right.
what should make you question, you know what? Who, like you just said, who's right and who's wrong? You know what I'm saying? Who's right and who's wrong? When we got all these guys doing things completely different and they all successful. So what
Agreed.
is right and what is wrong? You know what I'm saying? I mean, even with we got Chuma coming on tomorrow in the top 10 of handlers in the country. I promise you he don't do everything like Flacco.
No, absolutely not.
But yet they
Yeah, they're
both
different.
top of the food chain.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
So
Magic. It's like Magic and Jordan. They didn't do everything the same. They had different strengths and weaknesses.
yep.
So they know how to exploit certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing. Like I have a friend, and um so now we're going back to like the whole pointing thing, right? I won't get too much into it because I mean we could be here for freaking decades and agree to disagree on so many things, right? so so I said I said I told him, hey, well, I don't ever want the bird uh I don't ever want the bird to stop his digestive system
Mm-hmm.
while, and he's like, well, you don't know what you don't know, or something. He responded to me something along those lines, like, what you don't know is what, something like that, right? And
Right.
I'm like, well, what do you mean? And he's like,
You don't know
it
what you
never
don't
it
know.
never stops working. And I'm like, what? I could have sworn I've just seen motherfuckers just lock up.
Right.
And he's like, no. And I'm like, well, explain that to me. He's like, well, I find my bird's bone, or he said, what was the word he used? He said, he said stone dry. He said,
Stone dry. Okay.
I fight my bird. I show my birds stone dry, and I'm like, really?
Mm-hmm.
Like I could not have success that way. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's no way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I feel like the bird needs a little bit of energy. It needs to be, a little. But he's like, no, 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 no. He's like, I'm like, so how do you keep it going? Like, how do you stop it from? You want you're saying he's still digesting, but he's bone dry. What is he digesting?
Mm-hmm.
To me it makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, I feed him oyster shell. And I'm like,
Mm.
okay. And he's like, during the keep, he's getting a shitload of oyster shell. So and he said, the reason I feed 160 grams of feed a day during the keep is because it has oyster shell and it weighs it down so much. And I'm like, oh shit, I
Mm-hmm.
never knew. That's why I thought you fed 160 grams a day on during the keep. And it was all feed. And he's like, well, it's feed, but a lot of it is oyster shell. And what
Mm-hmm.
that does is that'll keep them going, and they'll be stone dry. They're dry, but they're still trying to dissect that uh, the
Oyster
oyster
shell.
shell.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I'm like, oh, when he told it to, I'm not explaining it as well as he did, but when
Mm-hmm.
he explained it to me, it made perfect sense. And
Mm-hmm.
I still said I wouldn't have the balls to do that. And he just started laughing. But he wins a lot more than me. A lot
See,
more. A
and
lot more.
that's funny that you say that because Tonio from the Philippines, he fights one of his families dry. He said dry. But he also said in that interview that he bred him that way. So his selection process took in consideration the ones that can fight dry. You see what I'm saying? And
Right.
he said what he realized is the ones that was dry was able to cut more. So those ones made it into the brood pen. So over time, the stuff that was making it into the brood pen was birds that cut better when they had less moisture in them than when they had more moisture.
That's wild.
But it goes back to that family, that particular family. All the rest of his families can't do that. But that, because I was like, you fight them wet or dry. He's like, well, with those families, I fight them dry. Rest of mine's not so dry. But that family, I fight dry. And then he explained, I'm like, wow. He's like, yeah, because they're bred like that. Huh. So when he said they bred like that, mean the ability to cut when they're dry is a part of the selection process. That's it.
Right.
Yep.
That's I mean, it's all it's almost like a little bit of it's along the same lines when Tammy Marco said like that she looks for birds that can take stress.
Stress.
Remember she
Right.
said that the
Yep.
last interview?
Yep.
And I'm like, that's interesting,
Yep.
Like
Yep.
I wouldn't have worded it that way. I guess we all kind of do that, but she she slapped it in my face like, no, you look for this,
But you know
And
what? I don't think everybody does look for it because I really believe that some birds that can't withstand stress, if they're looking good around breeding season, they end up making it into the brood pen.
you're right. Yeah, you're
You see
right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that's something that we all should take in consideration, and the ones that have been doing could become more conscious of it, more aware of it. But I don't know if everybody does it. I don't really know if that's common. I don't know if that's a common practice to take stress tolerance
Right.
as a part of your selection process. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and you're right because she did it more of like year round
Yep.
stress. And
Yep.
yeah, we pay attention to stress. How is he doing right now? These
Right.
two,
When
3 months
when
that
it's
we're gonna
yep.
put him in the brood pen. You're
Exactly.
right. Yeah, you're
Exactly.
right. You're right. I what I do, and again, this is just my crazy methods or
Mhm.
whatever thoughts,
Mhm.
is I like a bird that molts whenever the fuck he wants, but he's
Right.
always alert.
Right.
That just like I have a one of my favorite birds. He's a roundhead great brood cock,
Mhm.
and you will see him just, he won't molt, and then all of a sudden he'll just molt and then just pick himself back up, and he's just amazing, you know. So
It,
he
it,
just, and I don't really do much to. Sometimes I do, where I'm like, okay, come on, let's speed up the process a little bit, and I
mhm,
drop the protein a little bit.
mhm,
I kind of don't like to do that because in the back of my head, I'm like, I kind of just want them to do it when they're ready because I don't
yep,
know what they're going through. I don't know.
mhm,
I'm not there when it's hot or cold in their pens. I don't know what they're going through, you know?
mhm.
So, so that's, I like a bird that'll just be naturally just awesome on his own, if that even makes sense.
I no, I agree. And I also one of the things that I take in considerations too is I understand that we're dealing with a living organism, right? And we as even humans put a smile on our face, shake people's hands, go to work and all that, but be dying inside. You know what I'm saying? We have days where we're just like got so much going on. It's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But hey, on the phone, or you know how you got the phone voice, you know what I'm saying? You got the boss voice. So, I just like to take in consideration that they are living organisms. And sometimes I think it's unrealistic for him to be at his best every single day. Now, just because he's not at his best, don't mean he has to be at his worst. You see what I'm saying? I think when people think that, oh, if he's not at his best, then that means he's walking around with his wings drooped down. And no, no, no. We you don't have to go from one extreme to the other. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't like a bird that gets sick a lot. Now that right there is done. Now he don't
Yeah.
have to be on his toes 365 days a year, even through the moat and stuff like that. I don't require that, but I don't like a bird that gets sick a lot. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you get a cold here and there, but other than that, dude, that sickness, to me, that right there is a determinant factor. Because you can have birds that could be running around with coryza and they still bouncing all over the place. I
Oh
have
yeah.
seen sick birds bouncing all over the place.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. You can't always just look at the activity aspect of the bird because he can literally be sick and still bouncing off especially a high strung bird. A high
Right.
strung bird is going to hop around even when he's starving, when he's injured, when he's everything. You know what I mean? So that's just one of the things I do take in consideration. But they are living organisms. They can't communicate with us. That's why it's so important to spend a lot of time with them so you'll be able to differentiate the time that they are acting right when they're not acting right. Because every single bird is not at his best every single day of the week. And I think some people take that out of context when individuals say, I like a bird who never has a bad day. Well, again, not having a bad day and having his best day is two different things. You know what I'm saying?
I
So I
agree.
think people take that out of context, like, okay, well, if he's moving a little slow today, so that's horrible. No, I don't think that is horrible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um,
And we go back to the same thing. A lot of those like punchline sayings is a little bit of ego too, because it sounds
regurgitated.
really nice. It sounds
Yeah.
cool, like,
Yeah.
oh shit, like
Yeah.
I don't put up with shit. So, oh wow, so that guy must have the best birds in the world because, oh
Yep.
my goodness,
And I
it's
just
like,
think
no,
it's
it's
unrealistic. You know what I'm saying? If you look at any athlete, and again, I have been a part of breeding, not just with chickens, but with dogs and different disciplines from hunting, protection work, greyhound racing. The same thing with horses. You know what I mean? And no animal, put it this way: if you only bred the birds that never had a bad day, you won't have a whole bunch of brood cocks because there's no possible way every single bird in your yard, your cocks, are not going to have somebody's going to have a bad day.
yeah,
Somebody's
of
going to have a bad
course,
day. I just think that's
definitely.
unrealistic. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, yeah,
And yeah, I just think that's unrealistic. And again, people can't take it out of context by saying just because he's not at his best, that means he's having a bad day. No, he could just be having a normal day. You know what I mean? How about just a normal day?
just a normal. He's just chilling. He's like, hey,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
not
he
much
just
going
being a
on.
chicken. You know what I'm saying? Just ain't no need for
Just
him to be
chilling.
banging at the end of the tie cord. Ain't no need for him to be flapping his wings. All of it, it's no need. And honestly, like I say, I think, like you said, the punchlines, or I call it regurgitation, when guys just regurgitate these phrases that they see, I don't really truly believe that they understand what that phrase means. And what Tammy is saying is the stress level is, he's always feeling good and stuff like that. Yeah, that's because it's just like some people can go to work with a cold and you can't really tell. And if some people catch a cold, they act like they can't even function. Like, dude, I got a cold. My fever's 102 degrees and I'm still walking around here.
I'm the same way. Yeah, I'm the
You know
same
what I'm
way.
saying?
I'm good. I'm solid
Right.
until something hurts. I'm just like, oh my
Yeah.
God. Like,
And you know what? You might be feeling bad inside, but you just push through it. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So
yeah,
you're really not having your best day. It's just
right,
that you're just pushing through it because
right.
your body is messed up. You know what I mean? Like I got a toothache right now and my sinuses is bothering me. But if you don't really know my voice, then you wouldn't tell that my voice is a little different because my sinuses, my head, like right across here is like boom, 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 boom. But I'm able to sit on this podcast like I'm not really hurting. I am hurting. You know what I'm saying? So today is not my best day, but I'm still on this
Yeah,
podcast like a regular podcast. You
right.
see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's just an analogy. So guys out there, if you have heard that term, just don't take it out of context and don't allow your ego to get you to run through your yard and start culling birds that you shouldn't be culling, because I think that happens way too often. I
Yeah,
think there
just
is a
poise,
yeah,
poise.
yes, you got to be you got to be even more knowledgeable on what not to call, just as what to call. I think guys look for, you know what I'm saying? It's easy to say, oh, he's limping, or he's this, or he's that. You know, it goes both ways. And Bobby Fairchild was saying the same thing. Find for reason to get rid of him. A lot of guys find for reason to keep him. Bobby Reed said, Bobby Fairchild saying find reason to get rid of him. I think that will develop your skill set and create a balance. I don't think guys have a balance. You got guys that want to call everything. Well, they say they do. You know, if you look on,
They say they do.
yeah, they say they do. You look online, and online they will call everything for everything. You know what I mean? If
Yep.
he bumped his head coming out the TP, oh, call him because he's too stupid and he should have
Yeah,
knew the
he's
thing. You know what
clumsy.
I'm saying? It's
He
just
should
like,
know better.
yeah, it's not realistic. And I think, especially with a new generation coming in, they can take a lot of this stuff out of context and don't realize that everything that these folks are saying is not true. And I always preach that. Be careful what you hear or what advice you take from these groups, because some of that advice doesn't come from experience. Some of that advice is just regurgitated from another post or from the internet or from you know what I'm saying? Some of that stuff
Right.
is regurgitated. Some of that stuff is not coming from experience. So you got to be very careful when you take advice like, oh, he quit going and annihilate the whole generation's grandmama, granddaddy, sons, daughters, sisters, brothers, aunts. I don't, it's just
Yeah,
like,
no
dude,
way.
you know how many times I have heard that? You know how many times I have heard that? You know, Confucius said this. He said, if for empires that feel as though, excuse me, I'm sorry, that's my sinuses. He said, for emperors that know no other way to deal with situations without violence, he said, let a mosquito land on their testicles. And I promise you, they'll figure out is another way to solve a problem without violence.
Right.
Let's think about that.
Yeah.
That's a saying from Confucius. He said, emperors out here want to solve every problem with violence until a mosquito lands on a testicle. And now all of a sudden they figure out another way.
Yeah, they're not gonna be there. Yeah, they're not gonna use any
And
violence
again,
there.
that's not that is his quote. You can Google it. That is a quote come from him, and it makes a lot of sense.
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Right. So when guys post up their picture of an axe handle, guy asks a newbie come and say, hey, I got a bird that his mouth smell foul. He got some mucus coming from his nose.
X.
Guys in the comments, call him. And listen, everybody has their standards, and I don't have any opinion about somebody else's standards. It ain't even agree to disagree, because I'm not trying to convince them of anything. If you want to call everything, handle your business, because it's your foul. You paying the feed bill, and it's your time. So do whatever you want. But me personally, I'm not culling everything for anything.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
No, there's no way. And again, you know, I try to, since I know what you just said is, I just see it and I'm like, yeah, guys, like, come on, like, we don't even know if this person's new or whatever.
Right.
If this person has, you know, three birds and he's just so excited, and here we are, like, oh, kill everything. Like, wait, what? Like, how?
Right.
Like, you know, we don't know how much it costs him. We don't know what his finances are. We don't know his
Right.
situation. We don't know anything
That's
really.
right. That's
So
right.
it's like, hey man, like maybe to you it's like that bird isn't worth trying or worth whatever, but to
Hmm.
that person, that's all he's got, or that's his baby, or that's
Right.
he's got high hopes for him, or they
Yep.
told him that he was great, or he saw something in him and he's
Yep.
just so excited.
Yep.
Just the way we go to sleep at night thinking about, oh, I need to cross this with this, and you know, in 5 years I'm gonna have these machines.
Yep.
He's doing the same thing,
Yep.
you know. So let him dream, and why don't we try to find honest, alternate,
Hmm.
or just honest solutions.
Hmm.
And again, now if someone, like you said, if someone says, you know, cool, 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 then I would hope that that person is doing that in his yard first before
Right.
giving that advice. I personally think that every person that says that about, you know, runners and all this stuff, mean birds, blah blah blah, I think like a good 75% of people don't do what they
I
recommend.
I
At
I,
least, you
I
know,
agree.
it took
I.
it took me about a good 8 months, and I just got I had a cool one
Mm-hmm.
for me to get rid of him, and I knew for 8 months I had to cool him. I
Yep.
knew it.
Yep.
He was just mean, but he was amazing. He came from a great line.
Mhm.
Uh, he just beautiful. He's
Right.
stunning,
Right.
and I know what they can do. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I've seen them do it, and they're amazing. And it was just that one that I'm like, oh my god! And he was the prettiest one. He was the healthiest one,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just like, dang it. And
Yep.
for months, right, Matt? The hatch we cooled. We had a, you know, and we were like, oh, but he's so nice, but he's
Yep.
amazing. And he was, I mean, he would eat right, he would act right. I mean, he was
Mm-hmm.
amazing. But he had to
Mm-hmm.
go. You know, I couldn't put up with me trying to clean his pen, and you know, I try to keep everything as clean as possible, and
Yep.
he would try to freaking kill me through the wire, and I
Yep.
couldn't put up with that, you know.
Yeah.
So
My wife had me do one. She was like, "Listen," and this I got her from a great breeder. We went out there, we picked him up, brought him back. He's like, "Ah, he's once he gets settled, he'll be all right." Well, anyway, I travel a lot, so my wife is there feeding. She
same.
called me one day, said, "Listen, I am so sick and tired of this bird. Today, I'm just done. He got me on the wrong day. I'm tired of him knocking over the feed cup. I'm trying to feed him. He's knocking over the feed cup. He's knocking over the water cup. I got to get." She's like, "I'm just done. If you want this man fighter, then you keep him. But if you're going to travel the way you're traveling, then you need to get rid of this bird because I can't deal with it no more." You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So I just,
Yep.
and again, great bird and all that, but it's just like, you just can't. And one time he hit me in the back of my hand. I swear he broke every bone in it. I'm telling you,
Oh yeah, that hurts.
he hit me in the back of my hand, dude. I swear it felt like he broke every bone in my hand, dude. And if I didn't pay so much money for him at that time, I'd have wrung his darn neck.
Same.
And
Same,
I'm just like,
exactly.
dude. But I ended up
It,
taking him back. The breeder gave me another one. But I really wanted him. But based on my circumstance, I couldn't have him. I wasn't stationary enough to be able to be there to feed him, and she couldn't deal. I can't force her to deal with it. She took care of everything else. But that one
of
right there, she's
course.
like, wrong answer. Like, you got to get him up out of here.
Yeah, 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 exactly. You know, we again, I believe that 99% of us have birds that we shouldn't have on our yard. Even if it's just
100% of us.
we're housing at least one bird that shouldn't be there, and we all know it too. It's not like someone else's. It's not like I'm gonna go over to Jim's house and say, "Hey, oh, you know, I'm not gonna tell him, but I think Jim shouldn't have that rooster over there." No,
Right.
no, no. I'm talking about, you know, I know.
Right.
We can all pick a bird from our yard, and put it in a little secret, suggestion box of our
Yep.
own and say, hey, this guy's got to go.
Yep.
And I
And let
think
me
we
tell you,
all can have less birds, and we'd be
that's right.
better off.
That's right. I took it further than that. I made a live stream one time and it ruffled some feathers. I said that go out and call 30% of the birds on your yard. It's actually up on YouTube. Call 30% of birds on your yard, and I said the most people can call 30% of the birds on their yard, and it won't affect their breeding program.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm
I
just
agree.
that's listen.
I
I'm
was just
telling
being
you,
generous
dude.
and very nice saying at least one bird, but I believe that we can literally get rid of 30-50% and we'll be okay.
Well, at least 30.
Yes.
30%. You know what I'm saying? 30% of the bird. And this is another thing. Just because you have space, this is why I know we all have something, unless you got a teeny weeny little space. If you don't have a really small space, majority of the time, when you go out somewhere and they got 100 plus, it's something in that 100 that can go. I promise you, it's something in that 100 that can go. And it's just like you
Absolutely.
just said, we all know it. And
We
sometimes it
all
takes an
know it.
outside eyeball to tell us. Sometimes it takes the weather to tell us. Sometimes it takes a show to tell us. It's a whole bunch of different things that can tell us. But in many cases, we already know, because when you go, listen, after, you know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah,
just
I
saying,
know.
it's just the reality. It's just the reality of it. And we're all guilty of it. We are
Oh yeah.
literally all guilty of it. Just like I say, we all have birds that ran, or they going to run, or you got stuff in your brood pen that you breeding that's going to run, but you ain't going to know it because he ain't never going to be tested. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. You know what I mean? And it's just, uh, you know, that's just the reality of it, man. When you go through the yard, everything, just because you got an empty pen, don't mean you need to have something in it. Just because you got an empty tie cord, don't mean you need to have something on it. And that's not only in this sport, it's the same thing in dogs. Guys with coon dogs and game dogs, if they got space, it has to be occupied. They think
Right.
leaving an kennel or empty chain or empty horse stall is a problem. No, just because it's empty don't mean need to be refilled. And guys will go through their whole career never having extra space. They will always be in a shortage of space. There's no possible way you could be in need of space all the time, especially if you're not winning all the time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's a telltale sign right there.
A lot of the times we keep, I say we passionately
Uh-huh.
because it's true.
Right.
Uh, we keep that one bird or those 10 birds that shouldn't be in our yard
Right.
just out of like hope, what if he can do something? I'll just,
Right.
and
And
you,
Pete,
and
I'm gonna put
we find out most of the time
right.
that we were right. He wasn't going to do much, and we
Yep.
should have just not even showed him.
But
But a lot of it, we have high hopes for everything. Oh
yep.
yeah, but something tells me he's going to do something big. Like he's not though.
He's
You
not,
know, he's not. Time and time, he's not. You
he's
know.
not. He's not. And not only is he not, uh, and especially in the era of guys breeding wing bands and names and stuff like that, they got a bunch of birds on the yard that need to go. I promise you that. They got a bunch of stuff on the yard that needs to go. And anyone who has not put a obsessive amount of time of trying to learn how to select and
Right.
evaluating their birds, they guaranteed has stuff on the yard that has to go. If you're not really deeply spending time every day evaluating your birds, I promise you got stuff on the yard that needs to go.
Right.
Regardless of
Yeah.
how it's bred, who it came from,
It doesn't
what the
matter.
wing band is, even if you bred it yourself, regardless of what it is, because we have all kept birds, like you just said, with high hopes. Because he's bred really good. He might have came out of one of your best hens or off one of your best cocks, or either, out of your best brood pen. Just because he came out of your best brood pen, you will not get rid of him.
Right.
That thing needs to go. He
Right.
just needs to go.
Right.
But
I
what
agree.
I learned? One thing I learned, and I even learned this also from the Amish people, the less space you have for performance animals, like with the Amish and the Mennonites and stuff. They do mules and all that to work.
Right.
Like the Amish and the Mennonites, they can't have animals on their farm that don't. Not only do they have to have a job, but they got to be good at it. Like they can't have a lazy mule. You know what I mean? They
Right. If
can't
they
have
have
nothing like
aces,
that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, they got to perform.
They have to. And what I learned by looking at the Amish and the Mennonites, and also looking at some of the most successful dog breeders I have found, is one guy I know was extremely successful in dogs, and he never had more than 10 dogs. More than 10. I'm like, how is this dude at the top of the food chain and he only had 10 dogs? Like when I went to his house, I'm like, where's all his dogs at? And he's like, what you mean all what dog? And I was like, this all the dogs you have? He's like, yeah. He said the
That's
most
all I
dogs I
need.
ever had was like 12 dogs. I'm like, dude, you have never had more than two. He said, I have never had more than 12 dogs my whole career.
Wow.
He said, one thing small space has taught me in performance now, if you're not competing, it doesn't matter. If you're not competing, it really doesn't matter. If you just got
Yeah.
lookers, you just want healthy fowl, then it don't matter.
If
But
you're
if
just a fan,
if
then
you're
sure.
competing in whatever discipline, hunting dogs, racing horses, racing greyhounds, game fowl, whatever, and you limit it on space and you're competing, you will guarantee 100% have a better selection than you would if you went next door and bought 5 acres of land. I promise you. Because it seems like the more space a person has, it's like nature. The more space they have, the lower the standards will be. And it's in business. And you know better than me.
I
Kenneth
agree.
down there, Kenneth Boudreau. That's right. Floyd Boudreau is one of the greatest game dog breeders, not only alive, but in history. But back to what I was saying, I just had to put that because Kenneth mentioned that down there in the comment section. Can you see comments, Peter? Hold on.
No, I can't. Now I can.
Okay, all right. You can see when I put them up, guys. I'm gonna start putting up some comments too as well. But I just had to put that up because I love game dogs. But Peter, you notice from owning a successful business, is a saying, which we know in businesses, sales cure all, meaning that as long as you got a lot of sales coming in, it hides all the inefficiencies in your business, right or wrong, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So in corporate America, I used to always teach, with the management staff, I say, listen, sales cure all. But this is the problem. Many people wait till their sales slow down to start cleaning up their inefficiencies. You see what I'm saying? Like, oh man, we run a little high labor there. We don't need that extra department. We got too many people over there, right? So
Yeah,
how do you
it's like Scarface when he was like Scarface when he's like, I gotta get organized.
right?
Remember that scene? It's like, oh, now you gotta get organized. They're coming.
Right, that's right. That's right. They coming now. So it's just like in game foul. When somebody loses a job, now all of a sudden stuff that was keepable is not keepable, right? When feed prices go up from $8 a bag, now corn is $13 a bag. Now all of a sudden, you know what I mean? Your selection process is changing. So I always used to teach my management staff, you got to run it lean all the time. You just can't use the extra sales as profit. Don't use the extra sales for expenses. And that's what many people do. They make all these extra sales and they use it to create more expensive. Give you a prime example. Like I said, it's human nature.
I agree.
Person get a promotion at a job, they get a better car. Get another promotion, they get a better house. Get another promotion, they move to another side of the county or the neighborhood or the city or whatever, right or wrong. That's how it is.
100%.
So that's a universal principle. And I tell people all the time, it's a lot of stuff that we can take away from society and life and apply to these chickens. And again, if you go and look at your yard, 30% of those birds on that yard can go. Not saying they're no good. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying 30% of the birds on your yard can go and it will not affect your breeding program. That's what I'm saying. It won't affect, meaning that, you know what I'm saying? It won't affect your breeding program. I didn't say go and throw out 30% of your brood pins. I'm not saying throw out 30% of your brood cocks. I'm saying 30% of the birds on your yard can go without affecting your breeding program. Now, so with that being said, guys can hear me say that 100,000 times, and they can know it in their heart, just like you said 10 minutes ago, and they will still leave every pin and every tie cord occupied.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So the question is this, Peter. This the question. What is it, dude? We all guilty of it. We
We're all
all
guilty of
guilty
it.
of it.
Again, it's hope, it's it's ego, it's so many other things, Just I truly believe that obviously we all want to do good, right? We all
Yep.
have dreams of being legends in this game.
Right.
We all do. I don't care who you are. We want to leave our some kind of legacy, right?
Right.
Um, so I think an effort to pursue that goal and that dream,
Right.
we all go through it at one point or another. I think we start throwing stuff at the wall and see what sticks.
Yep.
And we can't let go of, oh no, because I went through that last week choosing it was hilarious, and I am a big believer in natural selection. I believe in God, and
Right.
so many other things.
Right.
So I was I'm like, I'm moving and stuff. So I'm like, okay,
Right.
what am I taking? I got,
Right.
I know what I'm taking, but out of these, what am I taking? And I'm
Right.
like, I'm taking this, and that. And I said, you know what? I want to. I've been sitting in front of these birds for the last 2 months, just every day,
Right.
watching them and
Right.
watching them and watching them, literally.
Right.
Shout out to Jeff Chapman in a
Uh-huh.
bucket, but I had a
Uh-huh.
chair and just looking at my birds and just
Uh-huh.
observing them, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, I know he does the bucket and coffee,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. He
So
does
I'm
that
just
every
there
day
and
of the
I'm
week.
just looking and watching and watching. And I do this constantly, no matter what, anyway. So, um, so the day comes and I'm like, okay, in the morning, I'm like, okay, that's a cool. We're doing this is and that. Everything's selected. So then I'm like, you know what? No. And I start telling Matthew's here next to me, and I
Yeah.
said, Matthew, put that hen, put her in that pen by
Uh-huh.
herself. Okay. So I'm like, see how they act when she's not around.
Mhm.
Oh, really? She's tough. Okay. She's So now take that hen, put her over there with that one.
Right.
And it took us like hours, right? It took
Right.
me hours. And I sat there and I was like, okay, let me watch them. Let me watch their behavior. And I like dominant hens.
Mhm.
I just do. I mean,
Mhm.
I like a hen, not a mean hen per se,
Right.
but a
Right.
hen that just establishes, hey, this is my pen.
Mhm.
I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna drink, and you're
Right.
you're second to me.
Right.
And this cool went above and beyond ever. I put her through fire. I put her through fire, and she went above and beyond uh all the hens that I thought were dominant and
Mhm.
assertive, and
Mhm.
that they had great bodies and I mean all the characteristics that I liked. And this colt, and she was beautiful. She is beautiful. Was beautiful.
Mhm.
Uh just gorgeous, but I was like, you know what? I kind of didn't like the way her mom ended up passing away. She
Mhm.
got sick one day, and I don't know, So I start overthinking stuff,
Right.
whatever, right?
Right. Right.
So I'm like, but she's gorgeous. She's everything I want. She's just younger, and these are a little bit older, and I can see clearly what I'm gonna get with these, and they're dominant like I like them anyway. Long story short, this younger, beautiful pullet ends up dominating all the older ones, and she's just established like I'm the queen, and
Right.
I'm like, and I look at Matthew, I look at my wife, and I'm like, holy shit, she literally saved her life.
Mhm.
She saved her life. She went through everything. I threw
Mhm.
everything at her.
Mhm.
Okay, now let's put a stag in there. See how if maybe he's the one controlling the environment
Mhm.
and she's not doing. Nope, nope. It was her.
Yep.
So I go through that, and then on the way, we travel,
Right.
right? She ends up dying.
What?
Yes. So natural selection. But we go back to the same thing, right? We all have goals. We all have different things that we see, different intricacies, different criterias that we
Right.
judge an individual by or not judge an individual by. And I
Hmm.
think that's what makes us keep a lot more birds than we should keep,
Hmm.
you know, in,
True.
in hopes of, well, let's see what they can do. Let's see, and it's all one big experiment if we really think about it.
Yep.
you know
Yep.
I think what sets people apart is how deep in the experiment are you. you
Right.
know
Right.
if you're in the beginning stages, you're like, oh, you're gonna have a little bit of success, but it's still trial and error. There's a lot more people that are so deep in that they've
Mhm.
kind of figured out their
Mhm.
little formula within the experiment, and they stick to it. It's their niche, and then they're
They
there.
succeed. Yeah. Is
they're,
that
they're
it is
succeeding there, so you just hold on to that.
yep. And actually Henny put up a post, well, a comment. I put it up a minute ago, and it made a lot of sense, which is true. And it applies. He says everything said on a subject is just an opinion and needs to be taken with a grain of salt. Just got to figure it out what works for you. That's exactly right. And
Exactly.
and 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 what Henny just said is exactly right, regardless of who mouth is coming at him. My mouth, Peter mouth, anybody mouth. At
Doesn't
the
matter who
end
it
of the
is.
day, if more individuals took this information with a grain of salt and applied some information instead of being obsessive with learning and not knowing. See,
Mm.
exorbitant information, knowledge is just learning. Doing something is knowing. Like I know if I put this hammer on this nail like this, it's gonna go. And that's knowing. Learning a hammer goes on to that's learning. But knowing is doing. And like Henny said, all every you gotta take all information with a grain of salt because it's so diverse. And what works for one person may not work for you. That's the reason why you have to do it. But you'll literally have guys arguing other people's opinions that they literally has never tried.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh, every
they
single
agree with this
day.
guy's opinion,
Just
and
go
then
on
they'll
Facebook right
argue
now.
you down over that guy's opinion, and they never even did what that guy's opinion is.
Right. Oh
So
yeah.
So Henny,
Happens
you're
every
exactly
day.
right, man. I mean, you got to take all of it with a grain of salt. You got to take all of it with a grain of salt. And again, I tell guys, you spending way too much time trying to prevent from. I think they're trying to prevent from making a mistake. Like they're constantly looking for answers and answers and answers and answers. But how much are you doing? Are you literally spending 2 hours a day out there with those birds after they fed and watered? No, but you're spending 2 hours a day in Facebook groups asking questions about what you should do with the birds that's 3 feet outside your back door. Instead of going out there with the birds,
Go
you'll
check them
rather be
out.
sitting in a house and on a couch scrolling, you know what I'm saying, and looking for information or getting answers. But then, even when you get the answers to the question, you don't go outside and apply it. So you'll ask them, and you see all these questions every day. I'm saying to myself, listen, I don't even think some of these questions are even legitimate. Like, I really think
It's a
some
video game
guys
out there sometimes.
don't have anybody to talk to. So
It's
they
like a
come on
Sims.
social media, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
and and ask questions that they don't even need to have an answer to.
I agree. I
What
I
do you think? I
completely.
mean, do you think
I'm telling you, I think I mentioned this before. I think we would be pretty well off if we had like a simulation game, like The Sims, like a roller coaster tycoon, like for
right,
cockers.
right,
We would be rich,
right,
because I believe that there's people. I completely agree, and now I'm not judging.
right.
Let me make it very clear. I'm not
Yeah, yeah,
judging,
yeah.
but there is. I believe that there is plenty of people out there that are bored, or maybe not bored but just excited to talk chickens, and they
Mhm.
create these scenarios out of nothing, you know like and on top of that, not only that, they create this scenario, whatever question, right?
Mhm.
Now they got 90 comments, and then there's people arguing in the comments,
That's
and
what. Yep.
people with a person with with an actual problem similar to what they're saying is looking at this, taking these comments literal, and then
Mhm.
going, and it's just it's bananas,
Yep.
So we have to be very careful, I look at things. I obviously I'm in groups and stuff like that
Right. That's right.
for obvious reasons. I love GameFoul, love
Mhm.
them, love the
Yep.
community, love I love talking chickens.
Yep.
Hence why we're live right now.
That's right.
Um, but try to associate yourself with people that have chickens. You
Mhm.
know that they're gonna give you advice. Maybe they'll give you wrong advice, but it's advice coming that's not gonna work for you, but it's advice that's worked
That
for
worked for
them,
them.
and they've applied it, and at least they can
Mhm.
say, well, look, man, this is what I do, and here's my oregano oil, and this is what I
Yep.
do.
Yep.
It didn't
Yep.
work. Sorry, but that's what I do. Instead
Yep.
of listening to someone that's gonna,
You don't even know that if they even own chickens. You don't even
exactly.
and see that is my biggest concern. And I talked about this the other night in my live. I said, listen, one of the things, don't get it twisted. When we bring these guests on the show, we're not saying it's the best way or the only way. But what we are saying is we're bringing on somebody on the show that is verified, that's been vetted. Like we know, even if you don't know them, somebody knows them.
Yeah.
So that to me, because just think about this. In the chicken world, people will listen to anybody if they got a problem. But if your car break down,
You're
right? If
right.
your car break down, you don't randomly walk into Walmart inside the frozen food section and say, "Hey, listen, what type of plug should I put in this engine?" You know what I'm saying? Just think about that.
Yeah, you're right. I
We
never
don't
thought about
go
that.
to a
Yeah.
bike shop and start asking them questions about mechanics on a car. So, but in chickens, we would literally we would take advice from anybody that will post a comment not knowing anything about them. But in real life, they ask a mechanic questions, an auto mechanic questions about their car. They ask a doctor questions about their health. They ask a landscaper questions about what kind of grass should they plant in the yard. Every other part aspect of their life, they ask somebody that they know. They don't go pick a random person just with a lawnmower and say, "Hey, what kind of grass should I plant here and what type of?" They don't do that. But in chickens, it's like an obsession that, and I think it goes back to the simulation because I really don't think many of them, they just want to talk chickens. But
They
it's
want to
almost
talk
like an
chicken.
obsession that they create, like you said, create these scenarios that I don't even think is even real. You know what I'm saying? And then you get 90 answers. So I asked somebody the other day, is the person more confused now than they were when they posted it? And then because he asked about a breeding thing. So I posted Tammy Shives' interview in a comment section, right? But he won't take the time to look at the interview, right? But he'll spend an hour reading all these comments.
Yeah. And Tammy's a legend.
I'm just confused. Like, did he really want the answer, or did he really just want to talk
He
chickens?
just wants to
That's
talk.
just want to talk chickens, dude. He just
As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure he could easily call up Tammy, ask her, shows because she's super nice. I've talked to her over the phone, and
Mhm,
she'll give that person the same exact answer
mhm,
coming directly from her,
mhm.
and he'll still be in the comments trying to figure it out.
Thank you very much.
Simple. And
I
he could, and I don't mean people to blow up Tammy's phone, but I'm just saying, I know for a fact that you can ask Tammy a question and she'll take your time, and she's very generous with her time.
right,
She'll answer that question, give you the best advice, for free,
right.
and people still be in the comment section trying
Let
to figure it out. People, fighting and stuff.
let me tell you a mind-boggling one. A guy asks, "What is Bobby Fairchild? How was Bobby Fairchild grades created?" This is what he asks, right? So you had 20 comments. oh, they was made from this, they was made from that, they was made from this, they was made for that. My comment was this: if you're asking a question about a man's foul, family, whatever it is, bloodline, family, whatever you want to call it, and that individual is still alive, you need to be asking the individual. Why
Right.
would you be in a comment section asking about a family of foul from a man or woman that's still alive? I'm confused. I'm literally confused. If this man or this woman is alive, why are you asking Facebook what their stewards is made of, what their round heads are made of, how their sweaters is created? Why are you asking Facebook?
We like colorful stories, you know.
Maybe that's what it is.
So we like to hear like people's different angles of it. You know, I saw Michael Jackson and he was like this, and no, he was this way, and he was moonwalking this way. No, well, he was moonwalking backwards. Well, not from my angle. And you just want to, oh, really? Oh my God, tell me more. You know, when Mike, when you can go to Mike if Mike was alive, you know, rest in peace. And he just like,
Right.
dude, I was moonwalking from here to there, and that's what it was. And I had my shoe sizes, you know, size 10, and that's what I was wearing, and you know, it happened in 1994 at the Super Bowl or whatever, you know,
Right. No, you
or
exactly right.
whatever
But I
year it
didn't
was,
understand it. The guy
you
was like,
know.
and I don't know if they think they're going to get a different story. But my whole concept is this: how do you know the story that's coming from the third hand is more true than the story coming from the original creator? Like, if you don't believe the original creator is going to tell you the truth, what makes you think three versions down that's going to be the truth? Because three versions down, where did that story come from?
Right. You know, this is
Hmm.
so I think again, we like colorful stories, right? And it's the culture too. The game foul culture. Someone, if you really pay attention to just random people, I don't care who it is,
Mm-hmm.
somehow, some way, this person associates themselves with Sweater McGinnis, for example.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I not to say that there's not people that knew Sweater and
Right.
or
Right.
people close to him, but
Right.
if you just throw random names out there, you know, you go to a show, you know, or back when it was legal, you go to a show or whatever, or you went to a show,
Mm-hmm.
everyone associates that, likes to say, oh yeah, I did say this, and he told me that when I went to his farm, and they almost like to be part of, they like to cling on to someone's
Yep.
success, you know,
Yep.
like yeah, well, you know, I went to, you know, just to use the name, right,
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Jumper's farm, and I was there, and he told me, nope, you know, this is my good stuff, and da 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 da, and people start believing that, and
Mm-hmm.
they're like, oh wait, and you know, and it goes, the same goes for every single breeder and every single big name or big
Mm-hmm.
breed of bird or line of bird. You know,
Mm-hmm.
people start attaching themselves to them, and they want to be close to that story. So it's
That's right.
like, hey, you didn't know Johnny Jumper? Well, I'm gonna believe this guy because if I'm talking to him and he knew him, then I can be part of that story too.
Yep.
You know, and
That
it
that
that's what it almost seems like.
I think that's what it is. That's a very good explanation because I think that's probably what it is.
You
Um,
know, I I,
and it
I went
happens in real life too, not just like you
last
said in
year.
Michael Jackson story. It happens. It happens in real life. Like it seemed like they want to be the one that knows. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like,
Yep.
no, I know because I used to work with that guy. You know what I'm saying? And it happens in real life in every industry. You know, I like drag racing, and the guy who worked for the guy, just say a successful drag racer, they'd be
Right.
like, oh yeah, he was my neighbor. Or, oh yeah, I used to hang out with him all the time. Or, oh yeah, I used to hang out in the cockpit. So I know. So automatically, his his words have more validity than anybody else. You know what I'm saying? And he might have just been over there hanging around, not asking any questions, not really even seeing anything. But
Right.
automatically, by him just being seen in that area, all of a sudden he has credibility. So now he gets to tell a story, and everybody who hear the story from him, the story is believable. Instead of
Right.
going to the drag racer who's driving a car and ask him, they'll ask Freddie over there. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't see Freddie over there lifting a toolbox and laying down a tarp. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just saying, hey, dude, John Force or this person, that person, how is it to drive a car going through? It's like, how do Freddie know? Freddie never drove a 300-mile-an-hour car. So but Freddie's breaking it all down. It's vibration and G-force and all that. You're like, how that guy know all that and he never drove a race car?
Right.
And it's just the same thing with chickens. Guys are telling you how to point, and a record doesn't speak for itself. Not only their record, but their success, their performance doesn't even speak for themselves. But they so absolute in belief. You got to be bone empty. It got to be a dime size. How many shows did you win back in the day legal? 3 a season? It's like, I'm confused.
Right. Yeah, I have. Yeah, absolutely. There's people always want to, be part of that story, and they want to. So if Peter or Jim doesn't have a story explaining what Bobby's Fairchild's grades are, and we weren't there, and we're like, well, ask Bobby, he'll tell you or whatever. He wants to go to,
Facebook
over there with I don't know, a David, for example, whoever, I don't know, making up a name here.
Right.
But David claims that he went. No, I went to Bobby's place and he told me this, and he told me that this was a secret, and so now that person that's asking the question, he wants to be part of that story. Yep. So he's gonna say, you know what, Jim and Peter, no, I'm not gonna ask Bobby. I got this guy over here, because now I can be part of the picture. Bobby's not gonna Bobby's not gonna tell that guy, hey man, come and be part of live this with me or whatever, because Bobby's already had his history. And he's still making his history.
Right.
You can't really
attach yourself or claim
anymore,
any type of credibility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
that's right.
If you attach yourself to someone else's story, that person now can go and tell his other buddy that, hey, I know the guy that Bobby told, and it's like telephone.
Telephone.
It's ridiculous. I went to a person's house last year, right? Mm-hmm. And I went to get some meds. Mm-hmm. And we started talking chickens, right? And I actually I was pretty desperate for a specific med, so I really didn't know him, but I asked around, and sure enough, this person had it. I went over and we started talking chickens, of course. And so a pretty popular breeder came to mind, Brent Easterling. Mm-hmm. And he said that he had inherited all of Brent Easterling's lines, and he had all the Bruners and all this and all that, and I'm just like, wait, what? And he was saying this stuff with conviction, right?
Right.
I'm not saying it's not true, but all I know is that I had personally seen Brent Easterling put on his social media the person that inherited all his birds. Mm-hmm. And he said, if you want any of my stuff, this is the person to go to.
And that wasn't the person that was telling you that story.
No, it was a different person.
Let me show you this comment, Peter. That is just too funny because it's so true. Look, Brian said that I had a stag that was eating his wing feathers, and I put a string through his wing and it fixed it, right? I don't know if you've seen, I posted a picture, out in Puerto Rico in the mountains. You look at, they got a lot of old school ways. So in the mountains, and then again, that's not even just like old school there, because when I posted it, so many other people tried it. But they put a nylon string through the wing. Some people use a zip tie, and it gives the rooster something to peck on to get his attention instead of pecking on his feathers. And it worked, right?
Right.
You should have seen all of these guys in the comment section laughing. That's the stupidest thing I ever seen. That makes no sense. What do you think? He's a puppet or something, putting strings on this and that? It ain't take but a couple days later, and guys in the comment section like, dude, that really worked. I had that problem. I did that, and it worked. Then you had other guys saying, oh, yeah, that's the same thing I use, but I use a zip tie. So I'm saying to myself, this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. But the guys who are clowning it are just the individuals that's constantly reading stuff but not doing anything. You see what I'm saying? So they're clowning the method that they don't know anything about, and just because who they look up to never told them that, then it must not be valid. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, that can't be valid. You know what I mean? That's not valid. That possibly cannot work. Again, going back to that absolute beliefs. So with all of this being said, if more people had to get hands on, and like you say, the simulation, because there's difference in when a pilot rides in a simulation, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying,
it
and gets a
is.
real fighter jet, you know what I'm saying? But the simulation is needed. The simulation is definitely needed. But we also had fighter jets prior to the simulation. You know what I'm saying? Prior to them having simulations, we did have fighter jets, right?
Right.
Just like guys get hooked on all this terminology, this scientific terminology when it comes to genetics, right? All this scientific terminology. Science is definitely needed, but it does not mean if you don't know the scientific terminology, the labels of it, doesn't mean you don't know how to breed chickens. Because I bet you Sweater McGinnis and all of those Curtis Blackwood and all those guys, I bet you if you sat down and asked them academics to breeding, they couldn't tell you. But I know what they could do. They can produce breedings. They can create some of the greatest birds.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You ask them how many chromosomes and this and that, right? They'd probably be looking like, what bird dictate the sex? Is it the male or the female? They're like, I don't know. But what I do know is I just won that 7 cock for 100,000. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
know that,
exactly. Yeah,
from
exactly.
birds that I bred and not, you know what I'm saying? So that is what, again, like you say, what the social media has created is the first generation that people can actually live in a simulation. Like you literally don't have to own foul, compete with foul, or doing anything with foul, and you can literally have credibility. You know what I mean? That's only possible because of social media. Like, how do people have credibility that never did anything?
Right. I I attended a show in Mexico in Ensenada about a month ago. Big,
Mm-hmm.
big, two big teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had a gentleman, that he's just a cocker from, I think he's like from Michoacan or somewhere
Right.
out there. I've
Right.
never met him, but
Mm-hmm.
he added me. Of course, I want to befriend, cockers and whatnot. And he was not there, but he said,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, you should go to this show and blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to that show." "Oh really? Yeah, So anyway, that happened. That ends up happening, right? He's like, "Yeah, I know the owner of some of the one of the breeders, blah blah blah." And I'm just
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, the story sounded kind of off because I was kind of close to the situation and I kind of
Right.
knew both sides. So
Right.
I'm just like, oh, okay, well, didn't give it that much thought.
Right.
Went, attended the show myself, right, with my kids and wife.
Mm-hmm.
We were there. We saw everything. We were like third row, second row. We were all
Mm-hmm.
there. Um, and the next day, that person is like bragging on social media. Like he had because it was two big teams, so a lot of cell phones and
Right.
videos going around. So he took all those videos, uploaded in his story, and he was telling people, "Oh, I told you these birds were amazing, and what did I say? Like we were there." And he was making it seem like he was there, and he told people, and he knows the birds, and he knows the person that breeds them, and and I was reading the comments, and
Mm-hmm.
all these people were congratulating this dude.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know. First of all, he wasn't there. He doesn't know
Mm-hmm.
the people.
Mm-hmm.
He knows of them because it's a
Right.
big team,
Right.
but he's not close to the situation at all. People were congratulating him, and he was like,
Right.
"Oh yeah, hard work pays off," and blah, blah. I'm
Right.
just like, "Wait, what?" And
Right.
you got all these people like, "Hey, I sent you a DM. I sent you a DM," probably asking him for birds even or advice.
Mm-hmm.
This
Mm-hmm.
guy for 4 or 5 months, 4 or 5 months ago was asking me like, "Hey, I got some sick birds, um, and he had a like, now he's like infected with like most of his birds are like dying. He's got
Right.
a mess in his yard, right?
Right.
I'm not, I'm not talking down on him. He's probably not watching this, but he's a Spanish speaker, but I'm just like, I would give him advice. Hey, you need to do something about it and do this, and try to get some meds, and try to isolate the sick one, and try to be understanding.
Yeah.
So he went from that to then 3 weeks later saying, hey, like most of them died. I'm devastated. I'm like, man, that sucks, bro. Like I told you, I've never met him before.
Right.
Anyway, fast forward 5 months later, this show happens. There's people congratulating him, and they're reaching out. Hey, I sent you a DM, probably again asking for birds or like advice on like pointing or whatever they're gonna, and it's like, wow. I showed my wife, I was like, look at this guy. We're just laughing. We're like, this is what we're talking about, and it happens every single day.
I'm telling you, brother.
Every day.
I mean,
and it's so unfair for people, like honest people that just have a real problem, a real issue, or just a real question.
Yep.
It's not fair.
It's not fair. I'm just
Because
saying
they're
it. And
getting wrong answers.
you getting wrong answers. And you know what the sad part about it is? Most guys don't know that they're wrong answers because they're never going to do anything. They're never going to apply it. See, a lot of this information can be vetted, but the only way it can be vetted is you have to apply it. And many guys don't have any intentions on applying 90% of the information that they consume. And then on a flip side, many guys don't want to educate themselves on anything until it's needed. Guys are asking all these health questions. We done had 3 solid interviews on health. Veterinarian, 2 with Rick Hurst. We got another veterinarian that's going to be coming on, animal nutritionist. We have another one. And again, you got all of these answers on here from vetted sources, regardless if you like the person or not. We talking about the information, not about the individual. The information, all vetted information. And you'll still have guys asking questions about this stuff. And again, I don't knock them, but my question is, why not watch an interview and get all the information that you need and then go do business with an individual that you like? You don't have to do business with that individual that you got the information from. If you don't like that guy, don't do business with him. But here's the information, right? And
agreed.
They only want the information once their bird gets sick. I'm like, why you don't watch these interviews? We got 3 solid interviews. It's over 6, I think it's 7 hours. 7 hours or 7.5 hours total of health, of game fowl health. Over 7 hours of interviews of game fowl health. Why don't you take the time to watch those interviews? So when you have a sick bird, you can identify him. If you see symptoms, you can identify it. You know how to treat it. You know what to get. But you know what they do? They wait till the bird gets sick. And then they want to go out here and get and start trying to learn, well, what do I do for this or what do I do for that? Man, that question's already been answered. It's already been answered. You know what I'm saying? So you got one group that want to know everything but apply nothing. And then you got the other group that don't want to know nothing until it's time that they need to know it.
Like, they don't even wait till the bird gets sick. They wait till the bird gets sick, and then 3 days after they want to ask questions. Hey, I thought I saw him on Saturday. He was kind of sad.
Right. Exactly.
It's Wednesday now, and what's going on, And it's like, dude, you were late on Saturday. Now you're really late.
Exactly, man. I mean, it's it's just one of those deals, dude, and I don't think that will ever change. I don't think that will ever change. And one of the reasons I don't think it will ever change is because and I think the veterinarian, I think we had talked about this of understanding the why, not just the how. And I don't think it's enough people out there with the desire to understand why they're doing something. They just want to know how they do. I think it was Blue. Alejandro talked about that. Yeah.
Blue talked about that.
Yeah, he talked about how it's not as important to know how to do something. The most important thing his father taught him is why to do it. And like I said, I was so happy for him to say that coming out of his mouth, because when I said it, it fell on deaf ears. You know what I'm saying? It fell on deaf ears. But you'll know from being.
Don't worry, Jim. They'll ignore him too.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah. They'll ignore him, and then they'll get on a Facebook group and ask, why should I be doing this? Like, the dude just told you why you should be doing it. But I don't want y'all guys to take this in a negative way. But I
No,
know
not at all.
most of you guys know it's the reality of our sport at this day and time. And I know somebody has to be the best. Somebody got to speak the truth. Somebody got to say the stuff that everybody else is thinking. I know y'all guys is thinking this.
Yep.
I know y'all guys is thinking. Y'all want to say it because nobody wants problems. And I understand that. I don't want problems. But I think the problem is when you don't educate the vulnerable ones, and then they get, sent down the wrong direction. To me, that's a bigger problem than speaking the truth and having people resent you for it. You know what I mean?
I agree. I think, if and this is truly what I believe, and my observations, in different, Telegram groups or Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
WhatsApp groups, whatever it is. Um, Not because it's you and not because we're talking,
Mm-hmm.
but the vast majority of people that actually watch your interviews
Mm-hmm.
get it. There's a lot of
Right.
people on here right now
Right.
and that will see this or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
that are followers of yours or whatever. They get it
Right.
because for years you've been trying to tell us these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the more and more you tell us, and the more and more they get confirmation, or we get confirmation
Mm-hmm.
from respectable people, not
Mm-hmm.
to say that you're not, but
Mm-hmm.
to different people's standards, or, oh, I want
Mm-hmm.
to hear it from
This guy, right? That guy.
Walter
This guy.
Kelso
Yeah.
himself, or else it's
Mm-hmm.
not true.
Mm-hmm.
So the more and more people start listening, and a lot of your guests start saying things that you have already said, the more we start all paying attention and listening and believing.
Right.
So I do believe that a Journey to the Pit brings this sense of, hey guys, this is our little safe haven,
Mm-hmm.
right, where we agree to disagree on some
Mm-hmm.
topics, but for
Mm-hmm.
the most part this is pretty accurate, and
Mm-hmm.
it feels good to have a lot of these friends on your group, on your
Mm-hmm.
channel,
Mm-hmm.
agree and actually get it. It feels good to mingle and talk to people that get it, and you see it in the comments.
Yep.
You
Yep.
see it, and you kind of, I do. When
Mm-hmm.
I see something that's ridiculous, I'll go to someone's page and I'll kind of scroll and I'll be like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I see why. And most of the time, the people that are saying the right stuff are people that I can see are followers of yours. They engage,
Mm-hmm.
and they're willing to listen, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's
I
beautiful.
agree. Yeah.
I
No.
think it's beautiful.
Yeah. I think it. Yeah. It is. I think definitely. Um. You're right. It gets kind of frustrated with me. And I'll tell you why. Honestly, it gets frustrated with me. Um. It seems like that if I ate nachos at the Bayou Club, then it will be a lot easier for them to pay attention the first go around. But it seems like a lot of the information that comes out of my mouth, some people don't want to listen to it until it's verified, right? If it's coming out of my mouth. But
Right.
yet they'll go to social media and listen to something from somebody that's not verified and take that advice. And that's the kind of thing that I'm always in battle about, is because, like, dude, I didn't already seen this with my own eyeballs. I'm telling you right now. Now, I'm not telling you to do it or not do it. I'm just telling you this. And that will be in a response to a comment that they already post. So I already know what they asking. I already know what they asking. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna give you the answer. Like the Tammy Shies when I put that link in there. He had a question. Can I breed this, or should I line breed or inbreed? Or what's the difference of this? Like, here you go, buddy. This is a good interview that you should watch. He didn't hit the like button on that interview. I mean, on that comment. But he hit the like button on his other nonsense comment that sounded so good. And I'm just scratching my head and like, okay, I'm kind of clueless.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm clueless. Like, he doesn't know this guy from a can of paint. This person right here could be verified. Not saying she has the only answer, but she's just one of many who have came to the show and has a successful breeding program. I'm giving you the answer to the question that you just asked. It don't have to be the only answer. So that kind of tells me is, I honestly don't think, I think a lot of individuals want to be successful, but deep down inside, they know they're not willing to do what it takes to be successful.
I was about to finish that sentence off for you. Yeah, exactly.
You feel the same way?
Yes, remember remember when we got off El Flaco's interview,
Yeah.
and we're like, man, he's giving the answers, and I said, yeah, but why would he give the answers? I know why. I answered my own question because he knows that no one's gonna do what he does. No one's gonna
Yep.
go watch film and
Yep.
sit there and quote unquote waste their time. To him, it's
That's
not a
exact.
waste of time. To him, it's just his passion, and he's
Yep.
got the drive to be the best at what he does. You know?
And you know you exactly right. You hit the nail on the head when you said that. He knows that the average person watching is not going to do what he does. So he can tell you everything that he does, but but you know that again, another universal. Look at all these motivational speakers. Brian Tracy, Tony Robbins, all these Stephen Covey,
Mm-hmm.
Bob Proctor, you know what I'm saying? All of these super duper successful motivation speakers. They know they're in an industry that's like a hamster wheel of a cash cow. They
Yep.
know 90 to 90, and they have said it out of their own mouth. I paid thousands of dollars to go see Tony Robbins in New York at a 3-day seminar. And literally came out of his own mouth, said 95% of the people that paid all this money to come in here, you will not do what I'm telling y'all over these 3 days. So it's not a secret. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not talking about something that's a secret. You got some of the most successful self-help and all these kind of people out there that's telling you most of these guys ain't gonna do it. So that's why I forgot this Navy SEAL guy that I watches sometime. Not David Goggins, one other one. But he said it's so easy to be successful. I think it was Dana White. It's so easy to be successful in society today because a lot of people are weak and lazy. And that really gut punches a lot of people, especially in society right now where everybody's trying not to hurt somebody else's feelings. But at the end
Right.
of the day, what the man said was true. You know what I'm saying? And it applies also to the sport as well. It applies universal. You know, you go in corporate America. Most people in there want to be in the C-suite in that corner office with the window. But if you look at their work ethic on what they do every day, it's not a reflection of them trying to get to the C-suite. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're not trying to get to that corner office with the window.
Yeah.
So what we basically saying here, guys, this is a universal principle. It just doesn't apply to chickens. It applies all over. But
Absolutely.
and like Peter just said, when we finish up with y'all, because we talked a little bit after the interview with Flacco, is like he said, he can tell y'all all that stuff. It don't matter because 95% of y'all ain't gonna do it anyway. So he don't have to worry about it. When he sit across from you, he know he gonna whoop you because he already know you ain't been watching tapes, you ain't been taking notes, you ain't been doing none of that. You ain't been
Right.
and then you got all these excuses why you didn't do it. Oh, I'm always at work. Oh, I'm always in this. Well, that's good. Fine. But at the end of the day, if you're trying to get to a level that you have never been to, I would think you probably should take the time to listen to somebody who's at that level. That's always my thought pattern. I don't say that to them, but that's always my thought pattern. Like, if you're trying to be super duper competitive, I think you should make the time to listen to the people who sharing free advice that's on the level that you're trying to get.
I agree.
I mean, isn't that what an
100%.
apprenticeship program is? Like, if you become a union guy, like a journeyman plumber, a journeyman welder, a journeyman this, a journeyman that, that means you're sacrificing that time to learn that craft. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
it's just, I think some get it, but I think if more of us start, like I said, more of the good guys start saying, hey, listen, guys, instead of me regurgitating something that I learned off an interview, why don't you go watch the interview? Because you may learn something more than what you just asked. You asked one question, but you might watch an interview and get 10 answers to questions that you never thought about asking.
I agree.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
I agree. I think I told you that I started applying I'll just give an example. I started applying Rick Hurst's chick care in
Mhm,
a chick program, and
mhm.
it sort of matches Tammy Shives
Yep.
or
Yep.
Tammy
It's kind of
Marcos.
similar. Yep.
They're very similar.
Very similar.
and I kind of follow theirs right in between. You know, it's very similar. You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
um, and I've had amazing results.
Hmm.
Amazing results. Ever since I started doing that, I haven't lost one baby chick,
That's what you
and I
told me.
say that proudly.
Yep.
And shocked as well
Yep.
because what was I thinking, you know?
Hmm.
But ever since I started following, I mean, not one. I mean, that's crazy. That
Hmm.
is insane, right? So, I had numerous people reach out, but one person in particular reached out, and I said, you know, this is what I did. And
Hmm.
I actually saved Tammy's post that she had posted, and it's
Right.
it's very detailed, right? She took
Yep.
her sweet time to write it, and I saved it,
Hmm.
and I captured an image of it and everything,
Hmm.
and I have it saved in my post and
Yep.
on Facebook, and I also
Right.
have Rick Hurst, and I said, hey, look, this is what it is.
Hmm.
This is exactly what it is.
Yep.
Here's the calendar, Rick Hurst calendar, and then
Yep.
this is Tammy's. She wrote it herself. She
Hmm.
took her
Yeah.
sweet
No,
time.
I have it like as a. I was going to send it out as a newsletter, but yeah,
Yeah,
what, what
exactly.
what you're saying is 100% correct, and you've seen the results. It came off a Journey to the Pit interview.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
applied it. You didn't just learn it. Now you
No.
know it. And you know why you know it? Because you done it. You see what I'm saying? So
Yep.
so that is what I try to tell people all the time. It's not important just to learn it. You have to apply it. Stop getting so obsessed with the learning. It's like, don't we all, I don't know if we all, but there's people out here, I know some personally, that spend their whole life going to school. They get one degree after another degree after another degree after another degree. It's like, when are you gonna ever work in any of the fields? Like, you
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
about $700,000 in debt. You know
In
what I'm
debt.
saying? And you ain't never worked. Like,
Yeah.
you got to get to a point where, you know what I mean? Like, you got to apply some of this
You
information
gotta
that you're
get
learning. Yeah, you
this
got to.
this person wanted me to explain it to them.
Hmm.
Again, they like to hear a colorful story.
Yep.
They like to look and you do this and it's right there. It's
Yep.
literally right there.
Yep.
Like there's you gotta want to do it. You know that this person wanted a story. Again, a colorful story. They can say, oh well, you know, this person explained to me, and you know, I don't know what it. But sadly for that person, I didn't have. I mean, I wasn't. You know, I wasn't mean about it or anything. But I
Uh-huh.
said, hey, you know, follow it. If you have any questions, reach out. But there's nothing I can tell you that this is not going to explain to you. It's
Right.
pretty self-explanatory.
Yep.
You know.
That's exactly right. I was talking to a breeder that everybody pretty much knows, and he was telling me that he gets so overwhelmed with all the questions in a message box, and he's like, and he has made videos about it as well, saying, "Hey guys, I can't answer all of these messages. Y'all asking me the same question, so I'm gonna make a video about him." It's John Marks. It's John Marks.
I knew it.
It's John Marks.
I
John
knew
it's
it
John
because
Marks,
he makes
and
great
John Marks
videos.
and I. Yeah, I remember I was in Puerto Rico. I was standing out there trying to see where I was going to put Tammy Shives going to send me a rose bush, and I was out there looking at where I was going to put it at. And he called me, and I talked to a lot of people that just be calling me to vent and stuff like that, and seeing what's going on, and he's like, man, I just get so overwhelmed, with all of these messages, and
Right.
I said, well, he's like, so what do you think, Jim? What do you think I should do? I said, look, I tell you how to handle it, because I'm sure I might not get as much as messages as you. I might get less, I might get more. That's irrelevant. But I tell you what I do. At the beginning, I tried to answer all those questions. Like, I would do the interview, and then I would give them a summary of the interview. Like you say, colorful stories, right? So I would do the interview, and then I would have somebody message me something about what we talked about in the interview. So I would answer the question for him. But it got to a point where I was like, hold on. I already did the interview. I shouldn't have to do the interview and then give you a summary of the interview. So what I start doing is, when somebody asks me a question that we already went over in the interview, I don't
And
answer it. I make if you want to know the answer, then watch the video and learn it. If you don't want to put any effort to learn, then why you deserve my time? So I
yeah.
told John that, and John messaged me. probably about 2 weeks later. And hey, how you doing, Jim? This everything going good, this and that. I said, so how is the replies working out? He said, dude, you just do not know how much easier that is for me to send them a video than to keep replying to their answers. He said, all I do is tag them in the video now. And I don't have to answer no more of those messages. And I said, exactly. And it's like crickets in a room after that. Because many guys are not going to put in the work to watch an interview. They ain't going to put in the work to watch a video past 5 minutes. So when you send that back to them, two things going to happen. You're going to get rid of somebody who's going to waste your time, who didn't appreciate your time, or you're going to educate somebody who's willing to put in the work to learn. That's the only two outcomes.
Right. I agree.
Right? And that's what I told John. It's the only two outcomes.
I kind of figured it was John because he's made some videos, and I could.
I got all his DVDs.
Yeah, he's a good guy. John's
he's very knowledgeable. And, you know, everybody got bad stories about everybody. A 1,000 people got bad stories about me that have never even met me. You know what I'm saying? But what I always say is forget about the individual and focus on the information. Focus on the information. Forget about if you don't like this person or like them, if you don't like the birds he breed, or if you do like him. We're talking about the information. If you don't like his birds, doesn't mean you can't use his breeding strategy. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like his birds, it doesn't mean you can't use his breeding strategy. If you don't like Rick Hurst, it doesn't mean you can't use the information that he talked about in his interview. You can use it to purchase products from someone else. Take that information and purchase products from someone else if that's the way you feel. Because nobody comes on a show to sell anything. They coming on a show to share information. I mean, you know, the flip side of that is they will sell stuff, but that's not their, you know, that's not my intentions on bringing somebody on the show for them to sell this, sell that. No, that's not my intention. My intention is for them to come on the show, share some unfiltered information that can have a positive impact on game fowl breeders all over the world. That is it. Regardless if you like them or not, I always say vet the information. Check the information, apply the information, and make a determination if the information was good or bad. That's it.
I agree. I totally agree with all that.
I mean, it's to me, you know, maybe because I didn't eat nachos at the Bayou Club and I just see a whole totally different perspective. I came in with maybe a fresh set of eyes. And I think sometimes when you're not second generation, sometimes that's a benefit. You know, sometimes it could be a benefit. It can save you a lot of time and stuff like that by being second generation. But I think also, too, by being first generation, it has its benefits as well. You come in with a fresh set of eyes and you question a lot more stuff. I think a lot of times when you second and third generation or come into the sport, raised into the sport, a lot of times you adopt beliefs without even questioning them, just like we do with religion, right? We grow up Catholic, we don't question it. We go up Baptist or, you know, whatever, Christian or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yep. A lot of this stuff we just grow up and just adopt and never, ever question it. Why people don't think that happens in game fowl? You know what I'm saying?
I agree. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
It's pretty straightforward. And I think that if more of us, because we have a lot of talented people in this sport that are well respected, but I know a lot of them are burnt out and disgruntled and angry and fed up and stuff like that. And they hold back a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I know it can be very frustrating a lot of times to be debating with somebody who you know don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm debating with this dude and I know everything he learned was off of Google. You know what I'm saying? Like you never set one down. You never competed on the hard ground. And we're literally going back and forth in the comment sections. I know that gets frustrating.
Right.
And it kind of deterred a lot of guys who I believe could bring a lot of value to our community that just kind of like throwing a towel. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I'll save my 2 cents and just keep it to myself. And then there's little Bobby over there who really need to hear what he needs to say, but he ain't going to hear it because he's too disgruntled. You know what I'm saying? Like he too wore out. You know what I mean? You know, I don't know.
It's unfortunate. You know, it is unfortunate. You know, but again, this is why Journey to the Pit, I think, is very, very, very important. You know,
it's tough.
And
It's
I
been
don't
a
just
tough
say it
road.
because you're here. I talked to other people about, Journey to the Pit, for example, where there's a lot of information that we can all learn from. We can, like, I don't care who it is. I don't care if you're new to this or
Mhm.
you've been in this 80 years. There
Right.
is so much information,
Yep. Yep.
and so again, so many different angles. I'm not saying that, no one on here. I don't think one person on here has ever said this is the only way to do it.
Mm-mm.
Everyone is literally on here saying this is what works for me. This is what I do. And I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that
Yep.
this is the only way, and whoever says otherwise is wrong. It's never
Mhm.
been like that, you
No.
know. But
No.
we can take experiences. We can take, for example, even the what region they're in, what
Mhm.
different challenges, and
Yep.
other. We don't have the same challenges that they have in Louisiana, for
Yep.
example,
Yep.
or in Kentucky or whatever.
Mhm.
It's just different weather, different climates.
Different climates,
Um,
different weathers, different farm sizes,
yeah, so
different
we
backgrounds.
we have we have to try to decipher our own area in a
Mhm.
way, and there's no. I'm sure if someone comes to my place, they'll
Mhm.
learn, like, hey, why are you doing that?
Right.
It could be someone very popular and famous
Right.
and well respected. Why do you do that? Just
Mhm.
out of, oh, because of this, and oh, that makes sense. you
Just like
know
the string on a wing. Just
yeah,
like the string
exactly.
on a wing. I mean, is that,
Exactly.
you had guys that been in game foul 30 years and they tried the string on a wing. And they're like, wow, it works. So, I mean, it's, I think that's what, at the end of the day, that's what it really comes down to. Each one teach one, you know, um, and it's basically the concept of we can all learn and teach each other something. Just like you say, somebody can come to your place and, oh, why do you do that? Oh, this is why I do it. That's a good idea. You know what I'm saying? I might try that. I had never seen that string thing ever. And I've been in Puerto Rico 12 years. I had never seen. Now I have seen it, but I never knew what it was. I thought it was just they was tagging them or something. I never knew what it was. I seen the zip ties, but not just a piece of nylon string that looked like it came off of a feed bag with a knot in it. And I'm like, what is that
Yeah.
on there? You know what I'm saying? But again, each one teach one.
And you gotta, and again, they're different birds. Right now, I'm going through some that are doing just that. They're literally right in front of me, and it's so
Mm,
frustrating because I try to take care of them so much, and I've tried everything, and
I'll send you that
that's
picture.
one of the last resorts is
I'm gonna
probably
see.
something like that.
I'm gonna send you that picture.
I think I
It,
had heard that before, but
yeah.
there's so much out there. But I've tried everything in my power,
Mm-hmm,
to
hmm.
try to control it, and it's just a group of individuals that just won't stop, and they're healthy. They got everything, I
Yep.
got, their water's mineralized, and I mean everything's just perfect in
Yeah.
my head.
Yeah.
They might look at me if they could speak and say, hey, dummy, I'm missing this. Oh, okay. you know
Right. And,
um
and and again, it can be. It might not be a lack of nutrition. It could be space. It could be a change of environment. I mean, they live in organisms. You know what I'm saying? They live in
I
organisms.
sure, and again, I was about to say, Jim, it can't be space because I just went and bought each one the biggest fly pens I could find in the area.
Right.
That was my answer, but then I kind of held myself. I'm like, well, that's just a lot of space to me. Maybe the bird needs a lot more space than that.
Right.
Maybe he
Right.
requires an acre, and I don't
Right.
have that for him. You know, it could
And
be
he ain't
that
gonna
could be
get it
the
right.
answer.
Oh,
You
he
know,
ain't gonna.
but again, we could, I could sit here and say, oh no, I've done everything, and no, it's just. But again, we have to give birds the they're living, they're
Right.
living creatures, they're
Living
living beings.
organisms,
So
dude.
they have their own thing going. They got their own thing going, and
Mhm,
we don't understand them fully.
mhm.
I hope one day I can. you know I
Yeah.
don't have all
Well,
the answers,
yeah.
and
The goal is
I
be to
like
get
to
as close
think
as
that because I
possible,
stay
right?
curious and because I stay learning and asking questions and listening, I get a little bit better every single day.
Right.
I learn
That's right.
I learn from even my kids every single day. They
Right.
say something, they point out something. Hey, have you seen that stag do this? And wait, what?
Right.
Oh wow, okay.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Right.
um, it is what it is. You know, and I think that's what's needed. We
Yep.
need a we need a you know, like the gentleman that just posted that comment. Like, take
Mhm.
everything with a grain of salt, right?
Yep.
Be poised and sit back and just enjoy and try to learn. It's a beautiful journey, anyways. Might as
Yep.
well.
And I see a lot of guys in the comment section. Guys, I'll try to get the picture up and post it again. A lot of guys, the picture with the string that so many guys clowned about it. And then 5 days later, you had a ton of people in the comment section like, oh no, that works. That works, that worked, that worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so just to let y'all guys know, I'll try to get that comment. I mean, I'll get that picture back up there so y'all guys. But again, in Puerto Rico, they use a string. They also use zip ties. They put it through the wingspan hole. You know, they put the string through the wingspan hole and have it dangling right there. And a bird just pecks. And I seen the bird doing it. Like they had the bird in the cage. And in this situation, it was just a very high strung bird. He said he was a very hard keeper, but he was a very good bird. He was a broodcock and he was old. You know, he said, I had this bird. And you can look at the bird was old. So he's an old broodcock, but that was one of the things that he did. He would actually hackle feathers and everything. So I'll get that picture up on my page again. I know it's on my page, but you know how Facebook is. You put up something today,
Yeah,
you won't
they
be able to
just
find
they drown it somewhere in there.
it.
It's wild.
So you won't be able to find it. But it's just stuff like that, man. And guys, just to let y'all know, Peter and I we were just talking chickens. We were actually doing the video on mic check for and just so y'all guys know, Peter actually can't see me. He's just looking at a black screen. And
I can
and
see
and
you. You're just frozen.
oh, I'm sorry, I'm frozen.
I've been
But on
looking
the
at you and smiled
other
this whole time.
yeah, our guest tomorrow couldn't see me. He only seen his screen. So we've been I've been with tech support. I'm not getting any answers of something that we haven't already tried. So we haven't figured it out on how we want to still go ahead and do the interview tomorrow. But just to let y'all guys know, that's how we kind of started this live stream. We was doing video on mic check and Peter and I just started talking chickens. I said, hey, dude, you want to just go live so they can kind of see, because guys are always messaging me, asking me questions and stuff. And I have a lot of conversations through video chat, just talking chickens. I'm like, you know what? Let's just go live, man. So we
Yeah,
just talk chickens and it kind of be like a
it's
round
been
table.
fun.
You know what I mean?
It's been
So we
fun.
just
We should
talk
do
chickens.
this more often.
Yeah, exactly. Just get on here and talk chicken. So it's been a ton of comments that come in, and it's been questions as well. And guys, I haven't taken a lot of questions because we were just on here talking chickens. Y'all
Yeah.
guys were just around a round table while Peter and I was talking. But it's been a lot of great comments. That's what I do like. Um, yeah, it's a lot of great comments.
And Jim,
But yeah,
my little one just kind of woke up. I think I'm
okay.
gonna
Yeah,
have to
go ahead and
log off
get
for
off of here,
now.
brother.
But
I
it was
appreciate it.
so much fun. We should. I encourage you. We should do this a lot more often, and
Yeah, we
I
should
would love it.
just talk
I,
chickens, man. We get on
yeah,
here and talk chickens.
absolutely. We should
Yeah.
have like cigars and chickens night or
That's
something.
right. That's right.
You
Some
know,
sitting,
just
dude.
and
I got
have comments come through and have real
yeah, we'll
honest
talk about that, man.
conversations.
That might be some guys. Let us know in the comment section if that's something y'all
Cigars and
guys would
chickens.
like to do. Yeah, I know your baby's up. So listen, brother, I'll let you go. I'm gonna get off here in a minute.
Okay.
I will WhatsApp you and let you know. I probably got a message from the tech support. Now we've been on here running our mouth, and
Hey,
tech
daddy.
support probably waiting on
Okay.
me to answer a question. Um, oh, that was Chuma. Chuma wanted to come in. It's too late now. We're about to get off. I'll message you on WhatsApp. We'll figure something out
We'll
between the
figure
night and
something out,
tomorrow.
Jim. But I'll log off for now. I
Yeah,
enjoyed it so much. It's so much fun. Guys in the comments, people watching with questions, all you guys, I love talking chicken. So
yeah,
let's do this
yeah,
more often.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
So
So I'll
thank you,
message you
Jim.
in a minute.
I'll get off and we'll continue talking on WhatsApp or whatever, and hopefully we figure out. Well, tomorrow I'll for sure we'll figure that out tomorrow for the
Got you,
interview.
got you. Okay, brother.
Thank you, Jim.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I just want to let you know that I'll WhatsApp you when I get this feedback from the tech support.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you, Jim. Take care.
Okay,
Have a
brother.
good night.
Have a good night. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye. All righty, guys. So yeah, we just Dreamer 24. What are you on here talking about, brother? I mean, I don't know if tonight's not your night. What's the issue? What question do you have? Guys, I hope y'all enjoyed that. Again, it was just it wasn't really a question and answer live stream. I just wanted y'all guys to be able to sit in and chime in while we are Peter and I was just talking chickens. It wasn't planned or anything like that. We just started talking chickens and we were trying to do the mic check and video check and it wasn't working out. We still haven't got it figured out. We still gonna do the interview tomorrow with Chuma tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have until well, not tonight. We done for the night, but we got all day tomorrow. We're going to try to get our video and mic check done. And the issues that we were having is at first I couldn't hear them. They can hear me. Then the screens was black. Then we got visual, but I can see them, hear them, and everything perfectly. But when they look at their phone, I'm frozen. So Peter just did this whole thing, and he was actually just looking at me frozen on the screen. So, but yeah, but that's pretty much it, guys. So yeah, we wasn't talking a whole bunch of we wasn't taking a whole bunch of questions. Dreamer 24, I don't know what your deal was tonight, man. But I hope y'all guys enjoyed it. Peter said we should. I guess we should, because Peter smokes cigars just like I do. So I guess he's suggesting that we should just have a day of cigars and chicken talk. That might be something that we can do. The thing is I don't do this from my phone. So he does his from his phone so he can sit outside. I'll have to figure something out. Maybe I'll do it from my phone, but we'll only be able to do it on YouTube. That's the thing about it. If I do it from my phone, I'll only be able to do it on YouTube or either one platform at a time. So, um, but yeah. But yeah, guys, so that's it. We've been on here 2 hours, man. You know how you get to talking chickens. It can go on and on and on and on and on. So yeah. Taking the time to put this on. Yes, sir. Angel, I greatly appreciate y'all guys chiming in. And we had a lot of fun. It was a lot of great comments that came in. We didn't get to a lot of questions. We got to some questions, but we were just talking. And these are the typical conversations that I have with game fowl breeders all over the world, guys. Just to let y'all know, I have these type of conversations, just like Peter and I just had. I had these kind of conversations with game fowl breeders literally all over the world, just talking chickens and different things and different concepts. And these are the kind of conversations that I don't share. This is actually the first time I shared a conversation, because that's not the first conversation that Peter and I didn't had like that, but I just never shared them. But it just gives you a glimpse behind the scenes of the type of conversation that I had with many of the people, and mostly a lot of the people that I interview, but a lot of people that I don't end up interviewing. Just great conversations talking chickens, you know. Um okay, Dream is definitely done. Um Dreamer, you know what, dude? You have some type of issue, man. And honestly, man, I would rather for you not to even come back on over the Journey to the Pit and watch, man. You can go somewhere else. Um you can go somewhere else and watch a show, but Journey to the Pit is not for you, dude. Hopefully I won't see you back over here no more. I'm gonna go ahead and get you on out of here, dude, because like I say, you don't need to be on here no more. Guys, listen, we thank you, Henny. That's exactly my point. See, like I say, always regardless, this is what I was just talking about before Peter got off. What I was talking about before Peter got off You know, you got a lot of guys out there that can bring so much value to the sport, but they always encountering ignorant people. You know what I'm saying? They always encountering ignorant people. And you can only tolerate so many ignorant people, you know. So that is why a lot of guys who could bring a lot more value to the sport don't even contribute. And I talk to a lot of them. You know, some of them, I talk to them and I want to interview them. They're like, dude, I'm done with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm so tired of the negative comments. I'm so tired of people questioning me who ain't never competed or did anything or traveled anywhere. And they telling me what I need to do when I'm down in Mexico. And they never even been to Mexico. They never even been out there. And again, it's one of those comments like this guy, Dreamer 24. Last interview that we watched, that we did, I was nice enough to get his comments in. Guys, y'all know we can't answer all these comments. We can't even address all these comments. But like I always say, the comment section is a very powerful tool for each one, teach one. We'll have these guys come in the comment section and think I'm supposed to run the show the way they want me to run it. I'm supposed to get to their questions. Dude, go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Go somewhere, and then you ask them to join a membership thing or pay $5 a month. No, they don't want to pay. They ain't going to contribute. They just want to take. You see what I'm saying? He's on here complaining about something that's free. This show ain't costing him nothing. And he's complaining about what we're talking about on the show. We're having a conversation. And this knucklehead is on here complaining. He did the same thing the last show. He's done. He's done. So yeah, YouTube is full of shows. You got a whole bunch of experts out there. Go to YouTube and find somebody else to watch, brother. Over here, we just a big old family that's here talking chickens, bouncing ideas off of each other's heads, enjoying the conversation. That is it. Some people just sitting back watching and not even making a comment. They just listening. But you have knuckleheads like this knucklehead chiming in. It's like, dude, what are you acting like that? That's so, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, find the cartoons. Yeah, man. It's like I say, dude. Joshua crazy, man. Hey, man, I really like doing these live streams, man, because I get to talk to y'all guys in the comment section. And it's just real fun. We get to laugh at some stuff. Omar, you're exactly right, man. We get to laugh at some stuff and just talk about chickens and stuff like that. And some people, like I say, just like to talk. But guys, we got some great stuff coming up. Chuma's coming in tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He's in the top 10 handlers in Mexico. We have Don Miguel, the bootmaker, one of the best bootmakers in Mexico. I didn't say the best because I know, again, we might have some knucklehead coming there debating that. But Don Miguel, we all know he's one of the best bootmakers. He's coming on next Wednesday. We got a treat for y'all guys. If the mic check and everything work next Monday, and I'm gonna have the flyer up tomorrow. But next Monday, we're gonna have a successful breeder in the Philippines coming on Monday. I think we're gonna do it 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday. He's gonna talk about conditioning and all that kind of stuff down in the Philippines. I didn't announce that because it wasn't 100% sure, but he shot me the information over late last night. So I got his flyer and everything that's going to be made. So we're going to have 2 interviews next week. We're going to have an interview on Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Breeder from the Philippines, part of Clark's team over there. I don't know if y'all guys been following Clark. Those guys just gotten the money and doing well over there. So one of the guys of his team, we're going to interview him on Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then that following Wednesday, Don Miguel's coming on. Don Miguel, the bootmaker. And then right after that, we're going to have another banger, bilingual. Monday interview is going to be English. Don Miguel interview is going to be bilingual. My interview tomorrow is going to be bilingual. And the interview after Don Miguel is going to be bilingual as well. Then, Flocko will be coming back around. Tammy Shive's going to be coming back in for part 2 because she's going to be talking about Biddy health and all that kind of stuff. So we got a lot of great stuff. A lot of great stuff coming in. A lot of great stuff coming in. And guys, I do want to mention again, y'all guys can always support us over here on the channel by joining our little membership program that we have. You can join for as little as $4.99 a month. Just to let y'all guys know, you can join the membership channel for as little as $4.99 a month. I ask y'all guys, hey, y'all get a ton of value from Journey to the Pit, a ton of value from Journey to the Pit. Just show a brother some love. You know what I'm saying? We have done a lot over here. And we have done a lot over here. So if y'all guys can consider joining a membership channel over Journey to the Pit to show us a little love, you can join as little as $4.99 a month. I just posted the link in the comment section. So y'all guys, it's on YouTube. If you watch it from YouTube, Facebook won't allow me. Oh yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, if you watch it from the Journey to the Pit Facebook channel, I just posted the link there. If you watch it from YouTube, I just posted the link there in the comment section. But yeah. Yeah, Donnie, I just posted it, brother. But yeah, y'all guys can join as little as $4.99 a month. And for the ones out there that's counting my pockets, yeah, I don't get the whole $4.99. YouTube take 30% off the top, so I get about $3. So, I always know there's always going to be somebody out there thinking somebody doing something for the money. But yeah, so guys, we going on. It's been 6 years. It's been 6 years. Michael, I greatly appreciate that, brother. I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate anything, man. Like I say, anything. $4.99 a month. I personally believe that Journey to the Pit, I mean, we give Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Channel, ESPN, all these other things. We give them more than $4.99 a month. We go to any drive-through, Sonic's, Burger King, McDonald's, any of that. You giving all of them $10 plus. So, hey, if you give Journey to the Pit $10 a month, $9.99 a month, I believe we bring a lot of value over here. I personally believe we bring a lot of value over here. And even with the comments and the messages that we get of the positive impact the information has made, I think it's worth at least $10 a month. But hey, you want to do $5? I greatly appreciate that. We greatly appreciate anything. But I definitely believe it's worth $10 a month. But yeah, so a recap, Filipino interview coming up on Monday. Let's start from the beginning. Chuma tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, top 10 handler in Mexico. He's going to be talking about pointing. He's going to be talking about selection. He's going to be talking about boots. He's going to be talking about tools. He's going to be talking about handling. That's what Chuma is going to be talking about tomorrow. On Monday, with the Filipino that we got interviewing from the Philippines, he's going to be talking about conditioning. That's one of the things I really wanted him to talk about. He's cool with that. We're going to talk about conditioning, selection, sparring. That's what we'll be talking about on Monday. Don Miguel going to be coming on that following Wednesday. He's going to be talking about boots, different style boots for different families, different styles, different heights, different weapons, how you select them, you know what I mean, depending on the family or the style or them ACLs. He going to be talking about all that on. There's no way somebody can't tell me that this information is priceless. Priceless. So, yeah. So, like I said, that he'll be coming on Wednesday. And like y'all guys know, I pull out all the details. And not only that, with everybody that I interview, and some guys who just coming on here just for just the answers, with the guys that I interview, I always like to tell their backstory, because new guys coming into sport needs to also see what's behind the curtains. They need to realize that these guys have dedicated their lives and made a lot of sacrifice to get to where they are today. You know what I mean? And I don't think we talk about the amount of work that it takes to get to that position. Like Flocko, how many handlers study tape, take notes, all that, study their opponents, This dude is studying tape of his opponents. How many? Be honest. Mostly, a lot of y'all guys are handlers. Even, I'm talking about back in the day when it was legal. Most guys wasn't really studying their opponents that they would have to handle against. Flacco brought a lot of value to the table. And like he said in the interview, I don't care about sharing it because I know 95% of the people are not going to be willing to put in the work. But that's why he's one of the best. And, being a surgeon, a doctor, Flacco is a doctor, a medical doctor, but he chose to handle chickens for a living. Chuma is a veterinarian, but he chose to handle chickens for a living. You know what I mean? So these guys are educated guys who have medical degrees and can go down that path, but they choose to compete in chickens. So they're bringing a lot. They could bring so much value to these interviews, but that's the reason why I also like to tell a backstory. So individuals coming in this sport is not coming in with the full misconception of, all I got to do is go buy a trio, buy me a nice boot, buy me some sharp tools, and buy a keep. I mean, that's really, y'all guys would be surprised how many individuals think like that. Y'all be surprised at how many individuals think like that. And honestly, they don't know no better because they don't have any experience in the sport, so they don't know any better. So that's why I don't be trying to slow roll the interviews, but I think those aspects of looking behind a curtain is just as important as all these tactics and techniques. Their journey, that's why it's called Journey to the Pit. Their journey the whole journey is important. Not how to tie a boot, not just how to point a chicken, not just how to handle a chicken, not how to just put a brood pen together. The whole journey is important. You know what I'm saying? That's right. Hey, Kenneth, you listen. I made a post about this. Kenneth, you're exactly right. Your brood fowl is the cheapest thing you will ever buy. That's exactly right. That's the cheapest thing. Yep. Look at that. Kenneth said, you changed handlers, huh? I'm telling you, man. Yeah, it's powerful. It's powerful. But again, guys, I'm talking about if you look at these interviews, you're talking about probably 1,200 years. 1,200 years of combined experience on those interviews from people from all different walks of life and all different parts of the world, all different disciplines, all different backgrounds, and all different farm sizes. There's nothing on the internet that is any better. And I'm not saying it just because it's Journey to the Pit. You show me somebody else's show that go deep. It's not a bragging session. It's not a reel of highlights. I'm talking about digging deep. I study my craft too. It ain't easy interviewing these people. A lot of them are camera shy. A lot of them are nervous, but you got to figure out a way to dig deep and get them to expose all the nitty gritty. So yeah, I study my craft as well. But yeah, guys, that's it. I'm not gonna hold y'all any longer. I know it's late. And a lot of people have messaged me about the wormer. Guys, the wormer, I don't know. I'm just tagging y'all one more time in the comment section. So y'all, there's the link, guys. We greatly appreciate any support that you'll give to the channel. Again, you can join as little as $4.99 a month, $9.99 a month. I honestly think, and I'm not just saying this, I honestly think Journey to the Pit is worth at least $9.99 a month. We spend more than that as buying trash food through the drive-through. But again, it's to each his own. It's to each his own. But y'all all have, is there a way I can see part of the membership, Jim? Yeah, you will have a look on the screen. Henny's a part of the membership. And see that sign after his name? That shows me who's a part of the membership program. But you can go to the YouTube channel, hit the join button, and you can join from there. But I greatly appreciate any support. No, I haven't. I have met him a few times, Hernando. I met him a few times, but he's doing his thing. I'm doing my thing. This is the thing, guys. Um, with the show. Journey to the Pit, we stay in our own lane. And I don't compare myself to anybody. I don't compare the show to anybody. I just do my own thing. And my show has been consistent from the beginning to the present day. The show is not about me. You know, the Journey to the Pit show is not about me. The Journey to the Pit show was created to be all about the guests. And that's what the show is about. I have been asked many times by the guys in the Philippines and other people on shows to be interviewed. I'm not really interested in being interviewed. I'm really not interested in being interviewed. And I'm not really interested in interviewing people of other shows because we're all doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's doing their own thing, but we're all doing the same thing. We all out here trying to uh, uh, get content, educational content to share with the rest of the community. I don't really see, you know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like I don't really see the purpose in it. So yeah, so that's the answer if that makes sense, Hernando. But yeah, Booger Ring, I met him a couple times in person. But yeah, Booger Ring is doing his thing. And you know, other people, all the other shows, everybody's doing a thing. And it's enough room for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's enough room for everybody. And it's just like I said before about streaming services. You know, many people who got a streaming service, nobody got one. Most people with a streaming service got more than one. You either got Hulu and Netflix, or either Netflix and Amazon Prime, or Amazon Prime and Disney Channel. You got more than one because there's enough room for everybody. You don't have to, it's, you know, you can watch my show, Boogerine show, Douglas Bruce show, Kenny Toronto show. Watch them all. You know, it's nothing wrong with that. Like, I don't see, I have a solid business background. And one thing I do know in business is I never spent time talking to my potential customers of why they shouldn't choose my competition. I spent all my time showing them the value in the service and product that we were providing. I didn't worry about what nobody else is doing. You know what I mean? And so that is why that's my focus. You know what I'm saying? And I think and just a prime example, you don't see Netflix trying to convince you not to watch Amazon Prime. You don't see Hulu trying to convince you not to watch Netflix or Disney Channel. All of them are just focused on trying to con, express to you the value in the service and the products that they have. That's it. And I just take those business strategies that I have learned being successful in business and just apply it to the show. That's it. Yep. Just apply it to the show. Um, but yeah, Omar, yeah, I have a guy. And it's the thing with Henny's Omar. Omar said, let's see here. It's a lot of work, but it's better to get it done on your own. So there's no excuses. Saying you're exactly right, brother. Yep, that is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Omar, you said, why don't I interview somebody with Henny's? I would like to hear about that. Well, I think Henny's, I do have a very good friend of mine's in Puerto Rico that breed Henny's. But I don't know, like, what would you like? Because breeding Hennies are no different than breeding any other type of fowl. So I don't know if there's any type, what do you would be looking for to learn about an interview with somebody breeding Hennies? Because breeding Hennies is no different than breeding any other type of fowl. So I don't know. It's like somebody breeding grays, you know what I mean, or brown reds, and somebody's breeding Hennies. It's kind of like I don't know. I don't know what we be. Omar, if you still there, comment in the comment section, brother, so I can kind of get a better understanding. Um, yeah, better understanding of what you're asking. But yeah, guys, I know it's late, man. Um, Ethan, what's up, brother? Let's see here. A lot of y'all guys are probably have already chimed off because the probably have already chimed off. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one, Ethan. Ethan said about the boots. Um, again, watch the well, Omar, and you just chiming in, brother. You late, man. We've been on here 2.5 hours, man. We about to get on off of here, brother. We had some good game foul talk. Omar, what I would suggest is you watch the interviews, dude. See, I'm not this the thing. I talked about this earlier. I'm not an answer man. Like, I don't really like giving answers on topics that we already covered because I think you'll get more value out of watching a interview that covers that topic than me just giving you the answer. Also, too, it tells me how serious and how much work you're willing to put in to learn the answer. It's very easy to give you answers, but you need to know the whys, not just the hows. So, Omar, you already on YouTube. Watch the Tammy Shives interview that we done a couple weeks ago. It's a whole bunch of them you can watch on there that you can watch, and you can learn the answer to your question there. It doesn't matter if they hennies or not, brother. You can learn your answer to that question there. Saying we got one in the making as well. Saying asks if we ever interviewed anybody that make the SKs. Yeah, we got something. We got a lot of great things. That's why I ask y'all guys to join the channel. Join the membership. Join the membership. I mean, come on, guys. $5 or $10 a month. I'm always out here trying to bring y'all guys the content that y'all looking for. $5 or $10 a month. Come on now. I'm just saying. You know, I'm just saying. It's just like Jose Mayo, and I got to reply to his message when I get off of here. But he asked me to bring somebody on to teach us about how to relocate to Mexico, about the process of buying land and all that kind of stuff. And I did. I can't bring every single person that somebody wants, but I'm just saying. But he's a member. He has been a member ever since then, and that's been a couple months ago. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I just think and I'll just be honest. I don't think it's right for individuals to just keep taking and taking and taking and never giving anything back. You know what I mean? I just don't think that's right. I don't think, and I'm not even good enough on a tangent. I don't think it's right that somebody goes out there, spend $1,800 on a trio, but then they got to come to Journey to the Pit to learn how to breed them, to learn how to feed them, to learn how to care from. They learn everything from Journey to the Pit for free. But they gave somebody $1,800 for a trio, and then they'll come over to Journey to the Pit and learn everything for free. I mean, come on, guys. Just think about that. Make that make sense to me. They gave that person $1,800, but won't give us $10 a month. But yet they'll use all the information over here for free, but gave that person $1,800. Come on, man. I ain't ashamed to say it because to me, it's just not right. And again, we want to continue making videos. We want to continue producing free content. But just think about that, man. Come on now. Make that make sense. Michael, new member to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. And I'm not trying to shame y'all guys into joining. No, that's not it. I'm still going to be making free content. But I'm asking you to ask yourself. You know what I'm saying? I'm asking you to ask yourself. If you don't get any value from it, I understand. That's cool. But if you're getting value from it, you don't think it's worth $10 a month? Come on now. I mean, I'm just saying. That's right, Ken. If you're exactly right. And that's the way I feel. That's really the way I feel sometimes. And some guys, you know, they be on here asking me to do this and ask me to do that and cover this topic and ask this question and ask and ask and ask. I'm constantly giving and giving and giving and giving and giving. And then when I create a membership channel, they don't even want to give $5 a month. I mean, I just really don't think that's right. I'm just being honest with y'all. I'm not sugarcoating it. I just don't think that's right. And y'all guys know that. That's like somebody constantly riding to work with you every day just because y'all work at the same job, but never give you gas money. None of y'all will accept that. None of y'all will accept that. None of y'all. None of y'all will accept somebody riding to work with you every day for free just because y'all work at the same job and won't shoot you no money on gas. Come on now. I did it. I used to have people ride for me about 4 years, but we divided the gas and tolls up because we had to go through tolls as well. They didn't expect a ride. We worked at the same job, but they didn't expect a ride to work with me every day for free because I was already going there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's my whole deal. That's my whole deal. But it's a lot of people who have gained value from this show and won't give 2 quarters to it. And literally will go out there and buy an $800 chicken, a $500 chicken, and then they'll come over to Journey to the Pit and learn how to heal it up, learn how to treat it, learn how to breed it, learn how to do the incubator, learn natural hatch, learn all of this stuff off of Journey to the Pit for free. But they gave that man $1,800. Come on now. So I'm just saying that, and I ain't afraid to say it. If you don't like it, then don't watch no more of the show. That's it. You know, that's it. It is what it is. I said it because it needed to be said. I said it, it needs to be said. Yep. Yep, exactly. And Ken, if you said it right, folks on a ride, but they don't want to pay no gas money. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I had guys that have done that. And I'm like, nah, bro, if you want to be ride with me every day, you know, and shoot me something on the gas. You're not just going, oh, you going in anyway. That's not the point. That's literally not the point. You know what I'm saying? That's not the point that I'm going in every day. You still going in too. You don't get to ride for free. Yeah. Yep. But yeah, Mike, I greatly appreciate it, man. I really do. Yes. Yes. I greatly appreciate it, man. Yeah. And like I say, man, Nathan, that's right, brother. I greatly appreciate it. And guys, y'all got to understand, I've been doing this for 6 years. I didn't just start this. It's been people out there that started podcasts, and in less than 5 episodes, you don't even see them. They ain't even around anymore. It's not that easy, man. It's not that easy. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that y'all don't even know happens. It ain't that easy. What y'all think I just whip out a phone? If I showed you in this room, I got studio lighting, studio camera, studio microphone, expensive laptop, software, all of that. Mixing board. I got all of this stuff that makes this possible. I'm not just doing this from my phone. And nobody bought none of this stuff in here. All of this stuff is out of my pocket for free. So don't y'all see why sometimes I get a little itchy. I'm a human just like y'all guys are. You know, some guys act like as soon as I express some type of, I'm supposed to be like I'm Mr. Iron Man. I'm a human just like you. You know what I mean? Come on now. I'm a human just like you. But I've been putting out free content, not just from me, but from all these guests for years. Not a couple episodes. This has been people that tried this, especially during the pandemic. Pandemic came, you had all these people popping out with podcasts. Where they at now? They ain't nowhere to be found. They ain't nowhere to be found. And you know what's crazy? All the other platforms, I'm the only free platform. Douglas Root's platform, you got to pay $5 or $10, something like that a month. Kenny Toronto, you got to pay $49.99 a month. It's $50 a month to watch his podcast. Think about that. We still Journey to the Pit. We ask you to voluntarily support our platform. The other ones, you can't even watch it unless you pay. And then the ones that they do, they're just doing those episodes to will you in. And I know that because they said it in it. It's not a secret. They say we put out this free content to get more members, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. Yep. And like I say, I go on these field, these farm visits. And then I come back and guys want me to share all the content from the farm visit. They ain't help me nothing with gas money, nothing with food, nothing with nothing, but then they want me to share the content. It's crazy. You know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars I have made the guests that have came on the show? Come on now. Come on. But I keep doing it because I have a purpose. I just ask y'all to voluntarily support the channel. That's it. Voluntarily. Just volunteer. You know what, Jim? I'll give you $5-10 a month. I think it's worth it. Come on, man. You telling me Journey to the Pit ain't worth $10 a month? If it ain't even worth $10 a month, $5 a month, I really don't need to be doing it because I'm not bringing any value to anybody's life if they're not willing to pay $5 a month, $10 a month. Come on. And you can watch it on Spotify. You can watch it on all these Apple Tunes, Google Podcasts, YouTube, Facebook. It's all over the place. It's so convenient and it's still free. And those other guys with their show, I'm not knocking them for I understand what they're going through. Kenny Toronto said out of his own mouth, man, I'm tired of giving all this content away for free. I spent all this money on these microphones be $400 for just a microphone. Studio lighting in here, digital camera, laptop. Come on, man. The cords that got to go into the laptops, the extensions. Come on. It's crazy. It is mind-boggling to me. It's literally mind-boggling to me. Then I had some clowns got the nerve to say, when I asked for $10 a month, $5, oh, you in it for the money. That's crazy. How you going to say I'm in it for the money? Dude, we got 1,200 years of combined experience that has been free. We've been doing this podcast for free for 6 years, going on 7. What are you talking about? I'm in it for the money. We got 240 videos on our YouTube channel for free. And you talking about I'm in it for the money. Come on, man. These folks sound like clowns saying that. All that is just somebody that's just a taker that will take as long as you giving. Yeah. Garage Life, what's up, brother? Hey, happy to see you, man. I ain't seen the last I haven't seen the last couple live streams, man. I haven't seen your last couple of live streams, brother. Glad to see you back, man. Glad to see you join again, man. Yep. Garage Life, man, was one of our original members, man. He supported us out the gate. Yep, he supported us out the gate. Hernando, he just joined. Thank you very much, brother. I greatly appreciate it. Like I say, man, go back. If we're not bringing any value, I'm not asking y'all guys to support anything that y'all don't think is valuable. But I know from the analytics alone, from all the stats that we get from all of these platforms, I know the information is valuable. Journey to the Pit interviews are being watched 40,000 hours per month. 40,000 hours per month the interviews are being watched. You want to tell me this not bringing any value? Is you going to tell me it's not bringing any value? It's being watched 40,000 hours per month the interviews are being watched. Come on now. This is a Game Foul show. This is not a comedy show. This is not a show doing skits. This is not a political show. This is a Game Foul show. And it's being watched 40,000 hours a month. Come on now. Hey, Jeremy, don't worry about it, brother. This wasn't a planned live stream, man. This wasn't planned. You just coming in late. It's just some chicken talk. Peter and I was talking chickens. We was doing mic check video check. I'm just catching Jeremy up because he just chimed in. What's up, brother? I know you watched the podcast, so just to catch you up to speed. But we were just talking chickens, doing video mic check with our guest that we have coming on tomorrow. Chuma Silver, which is one of the top 10 handlers in Mexico. He's coming on tomorrow. Doing video mic check with him today. It didn't work out. So Peter and I just continue on talking chickens. And I said, hey, Peter, why don't we just go live and just do some chicken talk? And then we just started doing chicken talk. And here we are, 2 hours and 38 minutes later, we're doing chicken talk. Hernando, you said you like the Alejandro. Alejandro Blue will be coming on for part 2. I talked to him today. He actually got me Tranquilino. I don't know, Alejandro, if you know Tranquilino down there in Mexico. What's up, brother, from Hawaii? Always got my Hawaii. I got some great supporters out in Hawaii. But Hernando, yeah, we got Tranquilino down there in Mexico. He's gonna be. I'm not gonna start sharing all our surprises that we got coming up. But y'all guys know we bring nothing but bangers. We bring nothing but bangers. We bring in some of the best content. I ain't say the best because that's subjective. But we bringing in some of the best content out there in the Game Foul market. I'm telling you. And for the amount of watch time that we get is just phenomenal when we're not showing videos of roosters. Because if you want a lot of likes and all that kind of stuff and a lot of subscribers and a lot of views, All you got to do is put a video of a pretty rooster, and you put a video up of pretty roosters, you'll have 100,000 views on it. But that's not what we do over here. We create educational content. That's our purpose. That's our lane. And I like to dive deep. But Hernando, I greatly appreciate you joining, brother. I really, really do. Like I say, I appreciate any support that y'all guys give us. You can join the channel as little as $4.99 a month. But I think we we bring a lot of value. I think we bring $10 a month, $9.99 a month. I think these interviews are worth $10 a month. I mean, when you can't even go to a drive-thru and get a value meal for $10 a month. I mean, for $10. Just think about that. You can't even go to one of the big chains and get a value meal for less than $10. You can't even get them for 10. I don't know how it is in your area, but I know all the value meals here, a number one is more than $10. Fact. So I think, and I'm not just saying it because it's my podcast, but I'm saying it because we got 1,200 plus combined years of experience on this channel for free. We're not charging for it. It's free. We'll just ask you to voluntarily help us out. That's right, brother. Hey, look what Alejandro's, look what Hernando say. He said he liked Alejandro's interview, Alejandro Blue, which is Jose Blue's son. Just think of the guests that we have coming on the show. Alejandro Blue, we had on last week. He's the son of Jose Blue. Jose Blue is the only man that ever won the Golden Rooster down in Mexico 2 years back to back. He won it back to back. Only man. Now his son, 23 years old, been a part of 7 intercontinental wins. One of the toughest entries down in Mexico. He's 23 years old, and we just interviewed him. So I let the cat out the bag. Hernando know. We got Tranquilino. They call him the chicken whisperer. If you ever watch his video on YouTube or on Facebook, the dude is like the chicken whisperer. We got him coming on the show. That's what I'm saying, guys. There's no possible way people can tell us this show ain't worth $10 a month. Come on, man. Volunteer. The content is free. We just ask you to volunteer. Look at this. This what I'm saying. This what I'm talking about. So, Brian, hope you're a member. I hope you're a member of the channel, brother, because this is exactly what I'm talking about. Brian just said the string trick saved him probably $500 in stags this year. Think about that. You know how many other stories, if I let you on my message box, you know how many other stories I get just like that? You know, look at what Peter said. How he hasn't lost one chick because of that Tammy Shives and that Rick Hurst interview. He hasn't lost one chick because of these interviews. Think about that. That's what I'm saying, guys. Come on. I mean, it's and nobody can say they can't afford $10 a month. Come on now. Come on. Nobody can't say they can't afford $10 a month. You know? Yeah, and Hernando, he joined, brother. I greatly appreciate that, man. Yes, sir. I greatly appreciate that. Yep. Yes, sir. Garage Life. He's back, man. He's one of like our original members. He's one of our original members. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Michael, I greatly appreciate that. He said he's been in game foul 50 years and he's still learning and enjoy the content. You know why? One of the things too, because the content ain't about me. You know what I mean? Yeah, this is one thing I'm seeing. Garage Life is saying it true. I'm looking at our stats. Since y'all guys, I don't know if y'all know, but we just entered Journey to the Pit, just entered the Mexican market. Our first interview was El Flaco. And we are on our 4th interview now. And Mexico, we have been Journey to the Pit has been well received in Mexico. I mean, they have received us down there with open arms. Rick, I'm gonna post the link right here, brother. There you go. Just post that link right there, Rick. You can go to the link right there on YouTube, brother, and click that and you can join. And we greatly appreciate your support. But like I say, guys, I really think the amount of value that we bring is worth it, man. It's worth it. Like I say, you can't get a value meal for under $10. But let me show you what Michael was saying. The young and the upcoming generation is the most impactful individuals in this sport. Exactly. That's exactly right. And that is the reason why I use the interview style that I interview. And it's because I want to make sure that my guest is explaining this information like they're talking to a 14-year-old. And I tell all of my guests that. Any guest that I have interviewed, you ask them. That's my number one requirement. You explain this information. Well, one, you only share what from experience. Don't share nothing you heard from somebody unless you label it as that. The second one is you explain the information like you're talking to a 14-year-old. That's it. That is it. That is it. But like I say, well over 1 million views on the YouTube channel, even after they deleted 70 of our videos. And again, like I say, it's to me, it's powerful. You know, it's very, very powerful. Yep. It's very, very powerful. This information is very powerful. And we have put in a lot of work to bring y'all some of the best guests. A lot of work to bring y'all some of the best guests. Yep. And like I said, we appreciate everybody joining tonight. We greatly appreciate that. Everybody joining tonight. We greatly, greatly appreciate that. All of our members that's joining in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yep. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, yeah. Jeremy, them Bautista birds a whole different level. They in their own lane. You know, if more individuals would stop being living in a bubble and open their eyeballs to or open their minds to other disciplines. See, I done seen every weapon, every style, every weapon in multiple different parts of the world. So I have seen a lot. And I can tell you, they get equally the amount of respect because to compete at the top of the food chain, regardless of what discipline and what part of the world you in, it takes a lot of dedication, sacrifice, and commitment. Can Corso, you can send me a comment. I can get to the comment section, and also if you're on YouTube, you can get my email. You can message me on YouTube as well, and I'll get in the comment section. I'll get in the comment section and reply. But I put my email address up here. I'll put it up here again. Yep. Yeah, you can message me. That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Let me put up this what Michael just said, and it made a lot of sense. I mean, just read that. Yep, just read that. Michael said we all need to remember what we needed when we got started. There are no dumb questions, young people. That's exactly right. And I understand that many young people or newbies, because I didn't get into GameFound until my 30s, that we shy away from asking particular questions because we have some very ignorant folks in this sport that will belittle you for asking a question. What they don't understand is if you're just starting, how are you supposed to know something that you never been into? You know what I'm saying? If you're not a baker, how do you know that regardless of how big the batch is, you ain't gonna need more than 1 tablespoon of baking soda. It doesn't matter if you're cooking 1 cake or a batch of 15 cakes. You don't need more than 1 tablespoon. That don't make logical sense, but in reality, that's how it works. But how, you know what I'm saying? So again, if you don't know an industry, how is it a dumb question? And that's the reaction that is the reply that many of the newbies get, because somebody with a big ego thinks everything is common sense, and it's not common sense. It's not common sense. How is it common sense? If you never had chickens before, how do you know corn is not enough? How do you know? You don't know. And I give you a prime example why it ain't common sense. If you look at Jay Riddle's interview, he talked about when he was 15 years old, he won his first derby. He used a conditioning plan out of a ripped page. Somebody ripped out the Gamecock. He found it on the ground inside the pit. This was way back in the day. He was 15 years old. This is probably 40 years ago. Or probably longer than that. He picked up that piece of paper and he conditioned his bird and pointed his bird based on that tear out from the Gamecock that he found on the floor in the pit. And in pointing, they told him to give his bird popcorn. Jay Riddle said in an interview that he didn't give them the kernel. He popped the popcorn. He cooked the popcorn on the stove and gave his bird 5 pop popcorns, and he won the derby. Think about that. Now everybody, well, that's common sense. You know, you ain't supposed to pop the popcorn. That's common sense. How the hell is it common sense? He popped the popcorn and he still won. You see what I'm saying? So that's why with Journey to the Pit, we definitely tried to create an environment that is mutual benefit for all. So we don't have people constantly using the word common sense, because I got to remind them everything you know today wasn't so common when you first started. So stop using the word common sense all the time. I'm not saying, you know, you can't use it, but I think some people overly use common sense, the word common sense. And I think it's just like, dude, you didn't know all this stuff when you first got started. Get out of here. Let's see. Okay. Hernando said, thank you, Jim. Your interviews have helped me out. I've been in the game going on for 3 years, just turned 24. Love the Tavester interview. That's right. That's an old interview, but it's still a good one. Oldie but goodie. Oldie but goodie. Yeah, Michael is thanking Hernando because, like I say, you know, the young guys, the new generation. Herrero on YouTube, you can't translate the audio, but you can translate the subtitle. The subtitles on your YouTube, when you watch a YouTube, in that little box is a little square box. You tap on that, and it because it translates it for me. It translates the Spanish videos that I watch and the Japanese karate movies and the Chinese karate movies I watch. It translates all of it for me. Yep. It translates all of it for me. So yeah, it's a thing on YouTube. As you watch a YouTube video, in the bottom right-hand corner, you're going to see a little box. And you can tap that box. It's going to ask you about subtitle. You can click subtitle. Yeah, Brian. And again, he wasn't supposed, and that was his point. He wasn't supposed to pop the popcorn, but he didn't know that. That's why I say that thing about constantly using the word common sense. He didn't know you wasn't supposed to pop it. So he popped it because he had never pointed a rooster before. That's my point. How can something be common sense and you've never done it before? So him being 15 years old, when it keeps said give him 5 kernels of popcorn, the only time he ever had popcorn was it was popped. So he popped the 5 kernels of popcorn and gave it to him, and he won the derby. Now he's not saying that to tell people, oh, start popping your popcorn. He's not telling people that. He's just using it as an example of how we got to be careful of always using the word common sense. He was just using his own self as an example, but he's definitely not encouraging people to pop popcorn. But obviously that makes you question it, right? It definitely makes you question. He still won a derby and gave him popcorn. Makes you question it. Yep. Makes you question it. So, but that's it, guys. That's it, man. I greatly appreciate all y'all guys that joined this evening, man. I really do. I really do. And I hope that y'all guys see the value in the show. We're going to keep on bringing these bangers. I encourage the rest of y'all guys out there that has been getting a lot of value from the show to come and join. I mean, come and join. So, why not? Why not give back? That's all I'm saying. Why not give back to something that you have gained a lot from, even if it's just been entertainment? We all pay for Netflix and Hulu and Amazon just for entertainment. That stuff ain't making no impact on our lives besides the entertainment aspect of it. So even if you watch the show just for entertainment, I ask you to support it. I'm not ashamed to say that. I wasn't ashamed when I spent all this money on all this equipment to keep making these shows, making these episodes. So, yeah. So just think about that. So guys, I put the link in there again. I appreciate any support. Again, the links are there if you want to join and show us some support. Hey, I greatly appreciate that, man. I greatly do. Like I say, any support, man. I just posted the links in the comment section. If you watch it on YouTube, you can see it in the comment section. You watch from Facebook Journey to the Pit, you also can see it. My profile, it doesn't allow me to put it on my profile. Yep. So I appreciate all the support. So y'all brothers have a good night tonight, and sisters. We had a good time. Good show. We had 3 hours. I think we had enough. So y'all have a good night. I'll see y'all guys tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Journey to the Pit YouTube channel, Journey to the Pit Facebook page, and the Jim Collins profile. Brian, crazy, man. I have tried to get guys to watch the show. We have too many guys that now best here in Kentucky. Yeah. Yeah. I hear you, brother. I hear you. Yeah. All right, brothers. Y'all have a good night. It was fun. I'll see y'all tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.